and welcome to SunBurst Tarot. And welcome to the reading into today's live and everything else. So, welcome. I hope you all are having a good day. I hope you all are having a good time and the such. So, I thought I would just come in, say hi. How we doing? Hope everyone's having a lovely. Is it today? Is Thursday, right? Thursday night. Uh, so hello all. I know I like to just say hi. Also, just going through the chat, I just want to say hi, Jenna. Welcome to the Sun Rays. Thank you for becoming a member. And Bratty Becca, thank you for the super sticker. I'm ready to go too. I hope y'all are ready to go as well. Because I'm actually really excited for 10 nights reading. As we got a lot of kind of stuff. And hi, Armando. Welcome. Yeah, I'm really excited. I have a couple questions already kind of written down for what we kind of have that we're going to do. Oh, thank you, Bratty Becca, for letting me know about. I will keep keeping an eye out on my mailbox. My mail guy has been not around the last 2 days, and I've been wondering where he's been. So hopefully they come. Uh, all right. But yeah, what we gonna have planned here today. So I have a few things that I'm looking to do. I hope y'all are excited for. Uh, I am feeling a lot better. I'm still not 100%, so there might be a random coughing fit. So that's okay, Bratty Becca. That's okay. I'm sure my mail guy he'll be good. Oh boy, it's starting already. Woo! It's getting out of me. Wonderful. So yeah, I'm really excited about all the dimensions too. So yeah, looking at what I have kind of planned here today, we're going to be going through dimensions 1 through 9. Are just kind of the standard ones I want to go through today. Woo! And then I had on my community tab, some people left some awesome questions. So one had wanted to go through in the Muslim religion about jinn and where they might kind of fall within like the spectrum or the range within dimensional beings. Where do they kind of maybe fit within this whole dimensional range? So someone had specifically asked about the jinn. So I'm just making sure that I write that down here on my lovely piece of paper so I don't forget. And then someone else had put on my community tab when I had posted this and also wanted me to look into. Oh my gosh, let me grab it up. But it is Ukraine has a few apparently different dimensional beings as well. Uh Again, sorry if I cough a lot. I'm still not 100%. I'm getting better. No worries. It's we just take it one day at a time. Okay. 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 Yes. The other one here was in Ukraine. They have these things called domovoy, and they're like house spirits. And then there's also plant spirits that they have. And they wanted me to kind of look into those home spirits and the kind of like the plant spirits as well. Yeah. Yeah, and Armando, yeah, I'm looking at your chat too with the our spirits in like the fifth dimension. I want to take a look at where to ghost actually also like fit into it. Like, what are ghosts? What dimension are they kind of on? Like, are they like a higher being? Are they more of like a middle of the ground or middle of the road beings? Uh, Looking at like angels and like higher dimensional beings is what we would kind of maybe call them. What are they as well? And kind of looking some in with some specifics at some well known like higher or lower level beings, and then also kind of putting that into also the dimensional beings again through 1 through 9. And I also do want to take a look at us as 3-dimensional beings as well, because some general questions that I kind of have for tonight's reading is one is like, can like once a soul isn't like attached to like the 3D plane, can it actually go to like a higher dimension or a lower dimension? And like how does one go, how does one ascend or descend within the dimensional realms? So I don't know, I wanted to kind of take, these are kind of some of the questions I had kind of thinking of in my head as I was kind of going through this. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts if there's someone like, I want to take a look at this or that. So let me know in the chat. I would be really excited to kind of see what y'all's thoughts are. Because yeah, we're going to do house spirits. Also plant spirits. And I want to take a look at kind of how these all align, because we've heard of like lower level entities, higher level entities, ghosts, angels, some will call them demons. Like, what are they? Then we have the FAE. Like, where does everyone kind of fit? Is there a hierarchy level? I'm automatically hearing, no, this is not a hierarchy level sort of thing. Or is it more similar to how, like, as the tree Yggdrasil in Norse mythology kind of operates, where, as you've known, like, they have the 9 realms within Yggdrasil. They have like the 4 on the bottom, and then it's like, what is it, 9, and then I think there's like 3 in the middle, and then there's like a couple at the top. So yeah, in communications, yeah, I kind of put that in here because the questions, specific questions that I have for like our 1 through 9 beings is what purpose do they serve? Like what do they actually do? I want to take a look at what are the lessons that they can help, or what lessons can they teach, or how can they aid us here in the 3D realm with communications or non-communications. And then I want to take a look at what do they think of us 3D plebs, as I'm going to call us. But you know what? We're just as important, as we all kind of held some sort of importance. And then I also want to take a look at how to work with and or avoid these energies. Like, are these energies that we want to work with, or are these energies we maybe want to steer away from because they might, like, just because of the vibrational levels and the such. Because another question that's kind of coming to my head right now is with what is the give and take essentially with working with higher energies versus lower energies? Like, what are the effects? Yeah, like, what are the effects of working with higher and or lower energies, lower energy beings, or lower energies? Like, what are kind of like what are the effects of them as well? And kind of looking at that from not just, oh, what we've all theorized, but wait, what can we get from the cards? Yeah, how can we evolve? Like, can we evolve into high frequencies? Yeah, I kind of have that put down into like how to go or ascend or descend within the different energies out and about and around. So I don't know, I hope y'all are kind of interested just the same as I am interested. This is like a topic I've been kind of wanting to delve into for a while, and I'm just like, I don't know how to do this, but we've had some really awesome suggestions in chat from past lives about what to look into, what are people interested in, and what can we maybe do like more deeper dives into in like live streams rather than doing like, I don't know, a 2.5 hour video with 3 parts. How can we maybe fit that into a live stream and we can have a back and forth with everyone, and everyone gets to have like their own thoughts, their own opinions, and the such. So I've been really excited. And then like at the end of tonight, I also am planning on, we can have a little brainstorming session of what other kind of readings would you guys like to see looking forward, like maybe in a more deep dive sort of way in live streams. I know I kind of have a few other ones floating around, but we can put those by you all here at the end and kind of see. So without further ado, I'm going to put this off to the side. We're about 10-ish almost minutes into the live, so I'm going to figure out what decks we're using tonight, because I don't know. I really don't know what decks we're going to be using tonight when it comes to dimensions and frequency beings, because what I really want to start with first is our dimensional people. Yeah, I want to take a look at like our dimensional peoples 1 through 9, and then I want to get into like our general questions afterwards, and then maybe go into some of those more specific ones that people might be interested in. So let's see. For our dimensional beings, what deck am I going to be using today? Okay, I got to use 2 different decks. We're going to be using. So I think we're going to be using the good old Intuit, not Intuit, but the Under the Oaks Tarot for one of them. Which other one am I going to use? Oh, I think we're also going to use the Landscape Tarot. So these are the 2 decks we're planning on using today. And then I'll probably pull out the Major Arcana deck as well. And then I already know I'm already being told you're going to be pulling out. I got to pull out the Fairies deck that I have for sure today. Because they're like, it's our time to shine. And I'm like, woohoo, yay. I'm going to have to keep some dice and stuff on handy because some of the cards are a little bit like, hey, we got some anatomy on them. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to be using, my Landscape Tarot, which is kind of the tried and true deck for lives. I don't know, this deck I have used almost in every single live that I've done, and it just does extremely well in live streams. I'm just if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? And then I'm also going to grab out my Under the Oaks Tarot as well, which has some nature vibes to it, but it's very like deity based in Norse mythology. So I'm actually kind of excited to kind of see where this is kind of going to go. So without further ado, quick reminder as we're going to get into the reading here today. Remember, everything I'm saying is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only. No facts here, y'all. Just my opinions, psychic downloads, and the such. So, if you want to use what I'm saying to help form your own thoughts, opinions, and conclusions, please do so. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So, with my disclaimer out of the way, let's have some fun, shall we? So, let's just start with dimension number 1 and work our way up to dimension number 9, looking at kind of what purpose does each dimensional being do, and what we're going to actually end up doing, and this is how we're going to do it. So, looking at my little spread here that I have on here. So, I think for our current events, I'm not forcing no one, Bratty, Becca. I am not forcing anyone. I don't force no one, no nothing. You want to be here, you want to be here. If you do not, you do not. All right. Now, behave in chat, please and thank you. I love you all. But what we're going to end up doing is kind of our current events is going to end up being like the purpose that they kind of serve, lessons that they aid us in, is going to end up being kind of our opposing energy and our unseen obstacles. Or I should say, it's actually probably going to end up being more of our material influences. I'm just going to write this down from my own perspective. I know, we love making me laugh, and I love making y'all laugh, but behave. Do not make me get out my mom voice, please, and thank you. We like to have nice and chill for the most part. Okay, so I'm just putting this down from my reference. So, again, what purpose do they serve? Was a clarifying energy down here. Then we're going to look at kind of what do they help us with, their material influence, like what do they help us with, what do they provide, their purpose, and then what do they think of us? I think it's going to be here up with the hopes and fears. Think of us. And then down here, how, again, this is probably going to be maybe some pitfalls or kind of like the negative Nancy stuff. Like, yeah, unseen obstacles that we could be running into them. Yes, and Cameron, yes, we are going to be looking into Jinn. We're going to be looking into the dimensional beings first. Then we're going to look into just some general questions, and then we're going to look at specific beings that people have put in. So, I don't know. Yasina, how do I know if you've been contacted? We can add that to the list of general questions. Let's add, I'm going to add that here off to my side. So how to tell when been? Oh, we can add that right into here. So unseen obstacles, again, it's like things that might be like challenges essentially. And then we have your opposing energies, which is kind of I'm gonna probably put down as past events. Actually is going to end up being like how you've been contacted, how to know if contact. And then we're also going to then look into we'll look at the positives, negatives. Because as each dimension, there's going to be a good and a bad side to it. Just as we have a good and a bad in the 3D, there is a good and a bad in the 1D, the 2D, the 5D, the 6D, and the such. Okay, and then I'm down here with the unseen obstacles. I think this is going to be ending up of how to work / how to work with them. How to work with them. So, and then up here is going to just be the messages they'd like us to know, or messages to take away. Okay, so going through this, I'm going to lay it down really, really, really simply. So here is 1. So what purpose do they serve? Number 2, we're going to look at what purpose do they serve and why. Down here with a clarifying energy. Material influences, we're going to be looking at what do they provide, what do they give us here if we would contact them on the 3D. Our hopes and fears is how do they think of us up here. Then we are going down to how do we work with them? How do you how do you work with them? This is like communication. Then we have maybe what are some negative traits with dimensional beings, with this level of dimensional being? What are some positive traits of these dimensional beings? Then we look, how can we be for certain that that's who we're being contacted from? Like, is there a sign or something that we should be like, that we can kind of know, like, oh, this is like a spirit from like the first dimension, the second dimension, the third dimension, and so on and so forth. And then we have up on top with the future events. This will actually end up being messages that they would like us to take away from, and to kind of know about them. So that's what we're going to be going into with our spreads here. And then that's going to like kind of serve us through each dimensional being. And then at the end, again, we're going to do our general questions, like how can a soul ascend or descend to maybe be a part of those. And then we're going to look into, can any soul go to any different dimension? Like, can you actually go? If so, are there steps? What needs to be done? And then, what are the effects of working with higher or lower energies? Like, what are some of those effects? So that's kind of the general questions. And then I kind of have some specific creatures, not creatures, but specific beings that have been sent to me that we can take a look at. So with all of that, that's what we have here. We're taking a little bit of time to get into it, but I want to make sure everyone's kind of on the same page of how and where and what's kind of being asked. So without further ado, let's get into our first dimensional beings. And look at kind of what is the energy around that? What are they? What can we know about them? And the such. So, with all of that, that's what we kind of have, and that's where we're gonna kind of start. So, again, we're starting with number 1, and we're going up to number 9. We might skip 3 because our 3D people are our humans. So, let's just take a look here. Our one-dimensional beings. What can we know, essentially, about them and the such. So let's take a look-see here about them. All right. So for our first dimensional beings, what purpose do they serve for us here on the 3D plane? The Ten of Pentacles reverse. What they serve is a look into mortality. They serve as a look into mortality, but also into that not everything is black. How do I put this? There are certain blacks and whites in the world. It's like what I kind of see is on the one-dimensional plane, it's like you see everything in black or white. That's what this is. It's all on black and white. It's like either it's all good or it's all bad. And we look at mortality and what is life and what is death. It's only one way or the other. And that's kind of the purpose it serves. It's like we're here as either all good or all bad, y'all. That is what we serve as. Why is this? Is because of the Nine of Wands. We serve it as, it's like, why do they serve this purpose? It's because it reveals the dark night of the soul. It reveals the innermost workings of us. It's like the bare bones of who and what you are. That is what one-dimensional beings kind of serve. That's the purpose. They show you the one side, the one facet of a soul. It's either black or it's white. It's like, and this is like the lonesome self. It's like when we're looking at this card, you see, it's like you see the mountain in the middle of nowhere with the one cloud above the one mountain in the middle of rising up. Also having it being here right in the dark as well. It's giving me, it's like this is an introspective. It's because you need to be introspective and see it's like this is where your morals are met, or where you are figuring out what morals are, and that's what the first dimensional beings are here to help you with. It's what are your morals? What are your ethics? What is black and what is white? What do they provide? Or essentially, what lessons do they provide? They provide the lesson of heartbreak, but also the lesson of disconnection. Again, also from like the underside of things, they make it so like emotions, people, places, things. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is weird. Haven't had this happen in a while. Yeah, it's like it's also from like a mythical standpoint. I think they want to like I'm getting from this, it's like we aren't a mythical creatures, we aren't these mythical things, we are real. And like that's kind of their purpose, is like we are your morals, we are your ethics, this is how we decide one way or the other. This is also like taking you outside of yourself, and like the image that kind of gets brought to my mind is it's like a game of choice. And what choice will you make? Will you make choice A or choice B? And it's like this is kind of determining of like your ethics and your morals, and turning you into a complex being where there is right and wrong, but also now choosing that it's like there's right and there's wrong. It's like you're trying, like this is the point where you're figuring out black and white, so that when you go to the next level, it's like, okay, now we can mix black and white. But first we need to figure out what is black and what is white. And that's the purpose that they kind of serve, is you have to make the choice. You can't have two cups. Sometimes you have to choose one or the other. Because what do they think of us, of people in the 3D? With the Nine of Pentacles, they see us not being able to choose. I also think they see us as lacking in choice or lacking in morality. Again, also I had this massive headache like starting up in my left hand temple, which I've never had happen before. So this is really interesting already. But yeah, again, it's like they think that we lack morals, we lack ethic, we lack the hard work. It's like you expect things to be just done. It's like almost, and I hate saying this, but I think they see it as, we've taught you the option of choice in the 1D. In the 3D, you take your choice for granted. You don't make choice. You just expect. It's like all this hard work we've made into making you make choice, it has now been thrown out the window, and now you don't make choice. And they don't get that, because it's like, this is, one-dimensional beings are very much all about choice. And now it's like, here, it's like, you don't make a choice. You just expect things or choice made for you, when it's like, you have a choice. Why not make choice? Why not hold yourself to those black and or white ethics? Why do you, this isn't about, yeah. Okay. So next we're having to, how to work with them. The 10 of Wands. You need to release your ego. You need to release your burdens. You need to release your pride. If you want to be able to work with them, you must make a choice. You have to make a choice, and it's either, and it's not, and yes, you can choose the black, white, or gray, but here's the thing. There is always going to be some choices are going to be more black, and some are going to be more white, and you cannot, and it's like, you want everything to be neutral, but it can't. You must release your ego to work with them, because like this, at this point, you have to choose if your morals are right or wrong, black or white. You must have conviction about that, and you have to let go of your ego saying, oh no, this is like okay, but not, maybe not the best. It's like, no, you need to actually make that choice, and that's how you would work with these groups. Some negatives when it comes to essentially working with them: your pride, your ego, potentially getting the best of you, thinking that you could be the best thing. Your pride and your ego will be the downfall when you work with these beings, because it's like, you can be all black or all white, but working with them, I would say this is all about choice, not about what is right and wrong. Because like, what's the positive? It's like, this is illuminating, this is happy. You get to not sit in indecision, but sit in decision. And sure, you're going to be learning what is black and what is white, what was good, what was bad, for your own morals versus the morals of external factors. How do you know if you've been contacted by them? The Page of Wands. If you're saying one thing and doing another. Also, it's like, they'll find you, you don't find them. They will find you. It's not like you can go and blow a wish and then they will come to you in a dream. No, these ones will, like, they find you because you are sitting in indecision. You are sitting in stuckness. Again, it's you'll know it because everything in your life that you've maybe been ignoring or not wanting to make a choice in choice will need to be forced, is what this is kind of looking like. And a message that they want to take away, it's like 8 of Cups. It's like, you're on the road. It's like 8 of Cups sure can be about walking away from situations that don't serve us. But this is also all about movement. And movement in emotions, movement in pride, ego, emotions, and moving forward. This isn't the message to take away from working with one-dimensional beings is we work with you to move forward. We work with you to make choice and decision, and whether that is black or white, and what does that look like in the grand scheme of society? But then, more importantly, what is that? What is the choice that you've made? What is your moral compass, black or white, in your way of thinking? The message from them is just move, do. Staying stuck in non-decision is no way to live life. That is not how you ascend. That is not how you move. That's not how you descend. That is how you stay stuck in what I'm going to be calling purgatory. You don't move, you don't change, you don't challenge. You stay stuck in purgatory. And you want to stay stuck for millennia. Okay. Oh boy. This is going to be deep, y'all. This is going to be deep. Woo! Nelly, that's what I got from one-dimensional beings. Okay. So we're all about the pride, the ego, and the base. Oh boy. Interesting. Also, Kamran, if I'm butchering your name, let me know. But yeah, Oh yeah, I do remember. Yeah, they can cause headaches because of the electromagnetic stuff going around. Yep. Oh, this is gonna be a fun time, y'all. Fun time. Uh, but yeah, that was the one-dimensional beings. Interesting. I thought we were gonna get, oh, it's the demons, the bad things, because that's kind of what we've all been told, right? Uh, that's what I thought we were gonna get, but apparently they just seem like just make a dang decision. Essentially, is what it's sounding like. Just make the dang decision to what's gonna happen. Uh, Otherwise, we're gonna come in and help make that decision for you, or force you to make one. Interesting. And again, I love that it's like, we'll find you. You don't need to go looking for us. We'll find you. You'll know it when you see it, because like everything that you have been avoiding. So, all right, let's take a look here into our second dimensional beings. So, okay. So Armando, what you talking about here? But that's not the case. I mean, we're live streaming, so it doesn't need to be all like boop 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 a doo. I can put in timestamps. And that's what it kind of felt like here for one-dimensional beings. I'm just curious on what your guys' thoughts are. Also, I'm trying to drink a lot more water. Because my coughing isn't too bad tonight. I will say, my coughing isn't too bad tonight. Knock on theoretical wood. Oh yeah, I'm talking about how we can perceive them. Yeah, looking at like the perceiving them again, like sure, it feels like more like we'll find you. You don't need to find us, and how to perceive them. Because again, it's like you see the it's like you say one thing but you do another. It's like they find you when you're maybe not making the right decisions. One, making right decisions, but two, almost are kind of like flip-flopping your code. And the other part of it was again, it's like you can wish for them, you can try contacting them, but like I got like that wish, and it's like you can blow the wish, but you know what, they won't come if like sure, you might be wanting them, but they aren't going to come unless they're needed. So that's what I was kind of getting more from that, from one-dimensional beings. So I don't know, that's what I was kind of seeing there. And again, maybe I'm picking up on a completely different set of one-dimensional beings than, say, like what people are calling them. So like what people, what the demons, or those really, what people like to call like those lower level entities. Excuse me. Maybe that's what I wasn't picking up on. And I was picking up on a different set of lower level entities. And who knows, maybe like what some might call like the demons or something aren't even in the one dimension. Maybe one dimension is even lower than what they are. So let's kind of, I just want to kind of keep taking a look here at what each one is and where maybe things actually are. At least from my perspective, it doesn't need to be completely right. So just my opinions here. So again, let's take a look into second dimensional beings then. What are their purpose? The Ten of Cups. They're here to nurture. Second dimensional beings are here to nurture, bring in family, feel like a sense of community, essentially, around people, places, things. We're here to cause harmony with others and other groups of beings. Why is this? This is the Ace of Swords. Second dimensional beings are a lot more common than people believe they are. Like, they are like communities, tribes of people. What we see on the surface of them, or how they've been explained to us in the surface of things, is not how they truly are. Also, since they're like right underneath the surface of everything, it's like, and maybe this is because we're on the, like, we're 3D beings, they're like right underneath the surface for us, but they're such more large and vast than what we can really imagine. Especially with that Ace of Swords again. What lessons do they help aid us in? The Three of Wands. these are our spiritual beings. I also would see these as like our ghosts. Our ghosts are two-dimensional beings. Uh, our magical creatures are two-dimensional beings. I almost think, now, I might be wrong here, but I think this is where we're seeing our, what people would call demons, what people would call ghosts, what people would call the FAE. Uh, uh, Other like entities, some would say like gnomes, trolls. Uh, I don't know if gods or goddesses, like how we like those alien type of. Some people call them aliens. Some people call them gods or goddesses. The like the people who are worshipped. Like these are also two-dimensional beings. Like I don't know if angels are two-dimensional. We might experience them in a two-dimensional. I think this is where things are going to get a little bit wonky and crazy, where it's like almost every like spectator, but things is it feels like a lot of stuff that we experience like on a more what people would call like a magical level are very much just two-dimensional beings, versus like say like these higher up like 3, 7, 8, 9 dimensional beings. Most of everything that we here on earth experience are that we call maybe like out of the norm would be classified as two-dimensional beings, and they provide us with like a glimpse into the great beyond is kind of what we would see this as. So what do they think of us here as the Six of Wands? We're prideful. We have our egos about us. We're just, you have a pride, you have an ego, and you think you're better than us. When in reality, it's like you could be us on any other day. It's like you're pride and full of ego, where it's it's like you think again you're the best thing since ever, and you are really not. That's what they think of us. We're just full of ourselves. How do you work with them? The Two of Wands. Also, if you're manifesting or trying to put out spell work or do things with other people, if you're trying to put like out your intentions, be like, this is what I want to kind of manifest or work towards my goals with, that's how you work with two-dimensional beings. It's spell work. Wow, some people would call spell work manifestation, writing down your intentions, what some people would call spirit, or the universe. Most of the time, you're actually working with spirits or beings on the two-dimensional plane, which is interesting. So some negative energy around them, the Wheel of Fortune. So again, here's another little download. It feels like people on the 3D and the 2D are very, very, very connected. They're extremely, extremely connected, where it feels like the third dimension, it's not hard to ascend from it, but not a lot of people, at least earthbound beings, are able to go past it. Because it feels like on the second dimension, it's like you're just a part of the wheel. It's like, I almost see it as like, with like your first dimension. So like you're here, like, so you have your second dimension. We'll go with like a clock. And then you're trying to ascend to the third dimension. But then somehow, like, it's not that you fail in the third dimension, but it's like the wheel of time comes back around to 2. But you skip everything in between and you just go back to 2, down to 3, and then back around to 2, and then to 3. It's like the 2 and the 3, like those two dimensions, because they're so closely interlocked, people almost hopscotch back and forth between the two. You hopscotch back and forth between the two very easily, and a lot of people can sometimes get stuck in that cycle of hopping between 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 2 and 3 is kind of what this feels like. And that's kind of like a negative energy. It's like you can get addicted to that cycle going from 2 to 3. What's going? The positive energy when working with second dimensional beings, what I'm seeing here with the 8 of Cups reversed is once you're able to like emotionally walk away from being a two-dimensional being. Because again, I do feel that two-dimensional versus three-dimensional is a lot easier. The jump from 2 to 3 is almost jarring when it comes to interactions. The 2 to 3 is really difficult. Really difficult. I don't know why. It's like that extra added layer is overwhelming. And once you're able to kind of get over that overwhelming sense and you're able to kind of move past the second and into the third and then up to the fourth, things get easier. The second to the third is super jarring for some reason. I get it as like going from, you know how if you've been in college, they have these courses called like weeder courses where like you get to like, it's like these really hard courses for like a major or a program that are designed to weed individuals out of certain programs because I don't know, some people just like, we just want to make sure that you're good. This is what it kind of feels like here. It's like the 2 to 3, like that jump, like the third dimension's like a weeder course. And the second dimension's kind of doesn't prep you well for that. I don't know why I'm getting that super, super hard. But like, how do you know if you've been contacted by beings on the second dimension? It's pretty easy. Just look at your shadow self, because second dimensional beings are the ones who are going to want to improve you, have you address your shadow self, have you address the different parts of yourself that maybe you have been keeping hidden. Like that's kind of what I'm seeing. Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of seeing here, especially with that Knight of Cups, is like, look at your shadow self, and you are connecting with us 2D spirits, because you yourself in the 3D and the 2D, it's almost like you walk side by side. Again, the 2D and the 3D are parallels almost, where the 2D walks on one path and the 3D walks on another, but they are shadows of each other. Or at least the 2D is a shadow of the 3D. And how do you work with that to move forward? Well, you have to work with your 2D self to keep your 3D self kind of moving forward and headed in an upward direction. Messages to take away from the 2D, from like 2D dimensional beings. It's the sun reversed, which is sometimes we can be extremely happy, but other times we can be extremely sad, and you can be both. And I think it's the 2D self is finding that balance between like your happiness and like what you aren't happy with. You know how with 1D dimensions is like you got to make a choice and you can be extremely like, because you're moving forward. Here it's like now you're working with both decisions and trying to find that solution forward. A great analogy that I'm kind of seeing is you have 2 cups. One is a cup full of like white I don't know, like white water, and the other one is full with black water. And so in dimension 1 beings, they're like, you need to just choose one cup or the other cup. And in the 2D sense, it's like, okay, now you need to not just choose one or the other. It's like, now you need to choose, how do you mix the two? It's like you're learning to mix and meld the 2 cups together to create an amalgamation of good choices and bad choices. And that's what I'm kind of seeing for 2D spirits or dimensional beings, which is kind of interesting, at least to me. I don't know. Again, it's like you have to be okay with disappointments. You have to address your shadow self as well as your light self. Yes. Oh, gosh. Yes. Yeah. Also, I would really believe a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing is like, again, the spirits in the the universe really operate on the 2D level, which is weird. I don't know. Some people might disagree with that. I think a lot of people would disagree with that, but that's what I'm kind of seeing from this. So, I don't know. That's what I'm kind of seeing. So, I don't know if we're going to do 3D because we are 3D beings, but you know what? With everything kind of being said, it seems like we're going to have to look at what is the purpose of 3D beings? What is the purpose of us being in a human flesh form? So, let's take a look at that. So, and I hope y'all have been enjoying so far. This has been super interesting to me, but let's take a look here. What is with our 3D selves? What purpose do us 3D dimensional beings serve? The Seven of Wands. With a full eclipse. Okay, so what purpose do we serve? Our purpose to serve is, this is the school of hard knocks. This is the school of hard knocks where everything is going to be, you know how we've been seeing like the choices, like you need to make a choice and then you have to mix the two, and now here what I'm seeing is, and it's like, remember, we've been having to keep addressing the shadow self here. 3D people, it's like, okay, school of hard knocks, you have to address not just your light self, but you really need to address the dark self as well. The dark night of the soul, transformation, change. That's why I think the 3D is so hard, because you have to address all the shit you don't want to address. Why is this? Because if you want to move forward, if you want to let go of shit, you have to look at both sides to things. You cannot just see this in a black and white version. We can't just see things in shades of gray. You must address your darker self. You must address the hurt pieces of you. That is like what the 3D self is for, to address the dark parts of yourself. Because, like, what lessons or aid does they provide? The star. Again, I get the third dimension is a hard, really, really hard dimension to live in and to work within and to heal yourself in. This is one of the hardest dimensions to work in. If not, I don't know if it's the hardest one, but it is like number 2. I would say this is probably the second or third hardest dimension to work in and to live in. Because that star card is giving me like, what lessons is to provide. This is like a lesson. The third dimensional beings, like, what do we provide? Like, what lessons or aid? This is showcasing yourself to the world, but also connecting to the world. It's connecting to other people. It's seeing the stars. It's learning about the stars. It's learning about spirituality. It's illuminating parts of yourself that you don't maybe know that even existed within your soul. Again, for people in the 3D, I also get that you have multiple different lifetimes. Like, you will live, on average, I would say 8 to 9 different 3D lifetimes, because that is the amount of stuff to work on. It's not an overnight process. It's not going to be, oh, you're done in this dimension, it's one and done. No, this is one that you live a few times over, because it's not an easy dimension to be in. And it's not that it's like, oh, you need to do this to ascend or descend or whoever, whatever. But it's just a hard piece to look at your soul as a whole and look at the light and the dark. It's super hard. And, like, again, don't knock it because you might not get something right this time. Again, like I said, it takes like 8 or 9 times to figure it out. And that's on average. There are some people who take more. There are some people who take less. But again, it's one of the hardest dimensions to be in. Okay, so what do we think of ourselves? The 5 of Swords reversed. We see ourselves as our own worst enemies when it comes to ourselves, our souls. It's like, we try something, then we fail. We try something, then we fail. We try something, then we fail. And it's like, we can't look at, I think the message in the 3D as well for this is, we can't look at ourselves as failures. We need to look at ourselves as, okay, we chipped this piece off of us that we did not need. Okay, we chipped this piece of ourselves off that we did not need. Oh, we exposed this crack we did not need to know that we needed to patch up. And I think that's kind of what we need to think of ourselves as, is like, we are works in progress. I'm seeing it almost like we are sculptures in the middle of being made. And you know what? That process in the middle is kind of ugly. And that's what I think, that's how we see ourselves. Is like we're seeing ourselves getting chipped apart in different ways. Okay, so how do we work with ourselves? We need to address our darker sides. With the devil reverse, how do we work with ourselves? We need to address our darker sides to ourselves. We need to address that we are not these light beings. We need to address that we are light and dark. That we need to essentially let go or break away from the negativity that binds us to certain locations or to this piece at point in time in life. Again, how do you work with them? How do you work with ourselves? We address and we let go of things that harm us or things that hold us down or burden us. Okay, looking at the negatives that we can find, the King of Pentacles. We can be greedy, selfish individuals. Also, again, we need to look at our shadow selves. I don't know how many times shadows are going to come up in this reading, but the negative part of it is you have to address your shadow self, the greedy parts of yourself, the pieces or the parts of yourself that maybe aren't so nice, that aren't so good. And we need to fight against those. Fight against the negative parts of ourselves, our greedy parts, our selfish parts, our wants, our needs, our desires. This like when you fully get true enlightenment, when we fully reach true enlightenment, we are true givers. We are true to wisdom and to light and the such. It's like, because it's not about what we accumulate, it is what we give out to others. Okay, so what's positive energy here? The Tower. This is all about bringing ourselves out of the hole, of reaching up and getting ourselves out of the pit that we are in. What's the positive energy? This is you fight for what you want. You build your foundations. Old ones that aren't there anymore, they go bye-bye. This is a major transformation and time of change. That's what the third dimension's all about. It's about change. And massive change in one's soul. How do you know if you've been contacted? I don't know. It seems pretty obvious. You're going to know. From your spirituality, being really in tune with whatever religious practice you are a part of. Because like looking here, it's like there's energies in the cosmos that wants to work with you, so it's going to come and work with you. If you want to pray, you want to be with this deity, or you want to go to this god, or you have this belief system. It's like whatever belief system that you have. This is also, I'm getting like trust in the universe. This is why I think we're so like closely aligned with two-dimensional beings as well. It's because how do you know you're connected? Well, like, you're connecting with the universe. You're connecting with the larger collective energy that is around, and you're working with them rather than against them. So yeah, that's what this is kind of coming up with. Like, how do you know if you're contacting them? Well, you're contacting them because you're contacting the universe. You're contacting your higher power. You're contacting the people, and you're looking at it, and you're judging yourself essentially on addressing the rights and the wrongs. How do you ascend? Well, you have to address the dark. Just as much as you address the light. And then a message to just take away. What we see on the top of ourselves, what we see here on the 3D is nothing comparative to what is underneath. We are only a part of our soul. We're only a part of what goes on. Again, like I was saying from the lifetimes before, you will probably live on average 8 to 9 lifetimes in the 3D plane. Because this one lifetime you live is only one lifetime of learning. And like underneath it all is there's so much more to learn. There's so much to unearth and to uncover and to learn about with this Ace of Swords, with this being a giant glacier. It's like there's so much more to the underneath. There's so much more to this iceberg of you, to your soul, to what is going on, and like learning and manifesting and working with things and addressing the dark parts of yourselves as well as the light parts of yourselves. And that's what I'm kind of seeing here for three-dimensional beings. I'm like, holy shit. Ah! guys, I don't know what to say. My brain is kind of just being like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't do a ton of like external research on this stuff either. I'm just here to have fun and look at things. But this could be heavy and pretty deep. Once again, the landscape tarot, y'all, is coming in hot with all the information. Whoo! Okay, my mind's just a little blown. I don't know how y'all are feeling. I'm just grabbing a sip of some water, but I'm reading the chat too as we're going. Also, I see the cats comment. I'm gonna write that down really quick about cats. I'm curious about that as well. So now we're gonna go into our fourth dimensional beings. I hope y'all have been enjoying, because oh my gosh. So let's take a look here. Let's take a look. What are fourth dimensional beings? I don't know. Let's see. Cause yeah. This is just wild. This is just freaking wild to me. So let's take a look. What about four-dimensional beings? What are four-dimensional beings' purpose? Let's take a look. The Two of Swords. What? Oh boy. So, what is the purpose of four-dimensional beings? They serve as an interim. Yeah, they serve as an interim. I almost see it as like this is your holding space. So it's like you're held here for a while. And I'm not sure why. Why are we held here? Why are we being held here? The Two of Cups. For introspection. So, right off the bat, I'm getting that four-dimensional beings are very isolated beings. They're very, very isolated. You rarely talk to them because it's like when you're in a four-dimensional state, this is like you've gone past the interaction space part of this now. And now it's like I almost see this as like you are like the Zen monks or yeah, like Zen monk like isolation type of beings. That's what four-dimensional beings are. They're isolation. This is a time of reflection. This is a time of finding like you are isolated and alone. People don't really not a lot of people talk to four-dimensional beings. Cuz what information what lessons or aid can they provide? The Knight of Wands. They're all about action. So from like a four-dimensional sense, it's like you're isolated away from other people, but they're also really meant for action, for taking on those next steps. But it's like you wait in anticipation because if you're looking, this is a lynx. Lynx are known for not like sure they're about movement, but they're also about patience and waiting for the right time to move and or strike. Yes, meditation. I would say yes. Yes, very much meditation. I would say like I'm looking at the chat and yeah, meditation. Like when to act, you will know. It's like you're almost given like guidance or information to kind of know because the hopes and fears here with them. Again, the Hermit card reversed. Otherwise, or what do they think of essentially like what do they think of us on the 3D? It's like y'all these people are so like they are so zen. They also think that we're so out of our comfort zone because four-dimensional beings meditate. They do things. When they are called to action, they have inspired action of which they will then take. But it's like they do not move on their own presence. They move on their guided direction, if one would say that. Especially with the Hermit card here. here with like, what do they think of us? It's like they want to just be alone, away from people, versus like 3D people who kind of like are around everyone. These are very isolated individuals, because like, how do you work for them? The Queen of Pentacles: go to nature. Go to nature, meditate, be on your own. You want to work with four-dimensional beings? Find your Zen spot, find your Zen space, and be there. Go to nature. Go to meditative spots where ley lines are. Like, that's where you're gonna find four-dimensional people. Because some negative aspects of them with the Three of Pentacles reversed is you can find really bad four-dimensional beings to work with. They are not easy to work with. I would say they're actually probably some of the more pricklier people, or four-dimensional beings are some of the more pricklier of the dimensional beings. They're very prickly. They do not like to work. They work alone and are not good with others. Just seeing that, it's like, they're really hard to work with. Because it's like, I did that all. I don't want to. I'm inspired by. I'm inspired by knowledge from higher dimensional beings, not the people who just from the lower who are looking to work with me. Very prickly, very, very prickly. I don't know why, they're just super prickly. Positive energy, if you can work with them, though, is the Ace of Wands reversed. If you can work with them, they're going to tell you like it is, but your ego is going to essentially be blown to smithereens. It's kind of what I get. It's like, if you want to work with a four-dimensional being, sure, okay. If you find one that actually wants to work with you, sure. But you will have no ego. You will have no pride. You are going to be essentially a shivering twig of the tower that was built up, the energy, the drive, the passion. It's going to be kind of like slashed. It almost feels like. As you can see, this is a tree ring. It's like everything above it was like everything that you've grown and or built to kind of build yourself up, your self-confidence, gone. But that's the thing with four-dimensional beings. It's like they strip away the ego, the pride, and everything else included to just essentially be like a channel from above, and then take divine inspiration and guidance from there. But otherwise, they're going to probably cut you down to size, because it's like, what do you mean that your house payment, that doesn't matter to anything? Like, why do you keep acting upon it when the divine has everything that you need to know or to act upon? And that's what it kind of feels like here, which is, again, could be to each their own, right? Okay, how do you know if you've been contacted by them? Again, you need to connect with your shadow self. Knight of Cups again. It's like, you must look at your emotional sides, your pride, your ego, and your shadow self, and you need to knock that shit gone. And that's how you work with four-dimensional beings, is you cannot come in with a pride and or ego. You can't come in thinking you know everything. You can't come in with a sense of anything. It's like, you have to let things come and join again from a shadow self side. It's like, how do you know if you've been contacted? Well, your shadow self. Get ready. And that's how you work with them, working with your shadow self. A message to take away from them is the Queen of Wands. Isolation, isolation, isolation. They want to be left alone for the most part. They just want to be left alone to meditate, to do their work, to hibernate, and go to the next stage. Again, they take on like a mantle of isolation, and then divine inspiration of when they do move. They do not move out of their own. They move out of divine inspiration. That's what I get. Just leave them alone. So, and that's kind of what I'm seeing there. I don't know. That's what I'm seeing for our four-dimensional beings. They just want to be left the heck alone. And I would like to say thank you for the information, and it has been passed on. So, but yeah, that's what I kind of see with our four-dimensional beings. But they take divine inspiration, which is the really interesting part. where it's like they're such meditative people. What I keep getting drawn to is in Doctor Strange. I forget what her name is, but like where he learns to go and learn his powers and the such, and like Doctor Strange, like that sort of discipline, those sort of monks is kind of what four-dimensional beings feel like to me. Or it's like we don't get involved with things, but if we're guided, we will work with them. Is kind of what I'm feeling. So, yeah. All right, so let's look at our five-dimensional beings next. What are five-dimensional beings? What can we know about them? What are their purpose? How can they help us? How do we work with them? And the such. So, yeah. Which I think is really interesting. I don't know. This has been a super interesting live for me. I've been really enjoying. It's been eye-opening to me, at least, in what I thought was before and what I'm seeing is two very different things. So, yeah. And I hope for you guys as well, hopefully this has been something of like, oh my gosh, this is like mind-blowing shit. So, okay, let's take a look at our fifth dimensional beings here. What can we know about our fifth dimensional beings? Six of Wands reversed. What is their purpose? Six of Wands. Again, we're going back to our ego, our pride. It is the downfall of our ego and pride. That is their purpose. What's the purpose that they serve? To cut down your ego and your pride and your, how do you feel, your sense of accomplishments. That's what they're kind of here for. Why is this? To elevate yourself. They're here to cut you down, decide to actually ascend. Where four-dimensional beings just want to go monk it up, five-dimensional beings are, I get like angel heavy vibes here, or like, you know, like the warrior angels, like that's what I get here. Like this is the time of like, knock that shit out. I'm here to make sure that I'm here to make sure you don't fall within which way you're going. That's what five-dimensional beings are here for. Because like what lessons what lessons do they provide? It's the Nine of Swords reversed, which is we're here to cause you anxiety and some panic, and if divine judgment I get as well, where it's like, oh, we want to put some pressure on you. You think you're going to make the right decision or the wrong decision? Which decision are you wanting to make? Again, this gives me like divine judgment. You know how some people are like, oh, I'm going to call in Archangel Michael to help cleanse and clear everything going on. That's what I'm feeling for five-dimensional beings very strongly. That's who they kind of are to me with things. It's like, how can they aid and protect? Well, we can help with maybe providing pressure in some ways to make sure you don't make the wrong decisions. But I also get that they come in and can clear out negative energies as well if asked, and if you are working with them and you respect them and respecting yourself. Okay, so what do they think of us? The Seven of Swords reversed. They think we're dumb as a box of rocks. It's like, you're trying to be sneaky, but you aren't really. You can't get away with shit. They think that us on the 3D think that we can get away with everything, that what we do won't matter. Again, it seems like they've been attached with angels, and I don't think that they mind that parallel. But here's the thing. It's like, you want to call us down, you want to like bring us in and be seen as these beings. Sure, we can do that. However, you don't get to disrespect us. You don't get to disrespect our name and our passion and what we do and what we do well. Like, that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's like, people have done a lot of It's like you don't get to be a dumbass, essentially. And people have been a lot of dumbasses on the 3D plane. Because the unseen obstacle, or essentially how to work with them. If you got bad negative juju energy around you, call them. They'll be more than happy to help. Especially with the devil. It's like, how do you work with them? Well, you're going to need to get rid of the nasty. So you're going to call in the big guns to get rid of the nasty. Because some negative energies around them is the Five of Wands. They're always down to fight. If you want to fight with them, they will fight with you. You want to help them aid you in a fight? Sure, they will help you aid you in a fight. But here's the thing. You need to respect them and you need to work with them. You can't just ask them willy-nilly to do something. It's like almost like asking how could I say this? It's almost like going in and you're asking your local mafia to be like, hey, I got this problem with the guy down the street. Or your local gang, it's like, yeah, I got a problem with the guy down the street. But it's like, okay, sure, we'll help you out. What are you going to give us? Are you going to go around and talk about, oh, how nasty we are to the people in your neighborhood or other things? Are you going to go and disrespect our name? Are you going to wear our colors, but then disrespect the morals and ethics that we have? Because that's what it feels like here. It's like, oh, sure, we'll fight with you, but now you are one of us. But if you're going to turn coat and not be one of us, oh, then we're going to have issues. We're going to have a lot of problems. Okay, the positive energy with them is the Nine of Cups. They're very isolated away from other people and other groups and dimensional beings. There's a lot of people who are they are scared shitless of 5-dimensional beings. I mean, I am a little bit too. It's like, I'm not calling them in unless I ask them to. And I have worked on building a relationship with them. Because I'm not going to be calling them in unless I have built a very strong foundation and relationship built on respect and knowledge. Otherwise, just don't go disrespecting them, because if you bring the fight to them, they'll bring the fight back to you. Just saying. But otherwise, they're pretty knowledgeable individuals. They are kind of a little bit harder, it feels like, to reach. But if you can reach them, they do come to your aid in times of need. Because, like, how do you know if you've contacted them? You'll know. Fireworks start going off. 8 of Wands type of energy, fireworks start going off. You're going to know when you reach them, because it's going to be like, dial 911, call them up and be like, okay, I have an emergency, I need help. Again, they're there to clear out negative energies that aren't supposed to be around you. That's what they're really good at. That's what they're kind of known for, and I think that's what they're here for. If you got negative energy around you, call 911 angel hotline, and shit's gonna get done when they do come in. You'll know when they come in, because 1, you'll most likely feel it. 2, shit's gonna start changing all around you. People are gonna be gone. Negative energies are gonna be gone. You're gonna feel lighter. The eyes on the back of the eyes that you feel on the back of you, like you're being watched, are no longer. And that's the energy. That's the energy that I'm feeling. I don't know why also I'm getting, like, if you have a grandmother or a grandfather or someone in your family who is very devout in church, and they very much believe in the angels and working with them, and that they are the protector of all, like, most people who are, like, very devout religious individuals who do respect the religion, but also then respect those deities within the religion, most of them, I feel like, have almost, like, they have, like, a 911 direct hotline to angels. Most of them can call them, and I would say if you're devout and, like, you've been living by those teachings and you haven't been using them to manipulate people around you or others around you, and you've been living by those words and not manipulated by them, most people, I think, do have a very good direct hotline to them for help and protection and the such. They aren't like an exclusive, oh, you need to go to a priest to get them. No, a lot of people who are just devout within their religious beliefs, who have connections to them, can call them up. So, yes. If you are very much, again, I'm looking in the chat now. Yes. again, looking with prayers within Islam, prayers within, I know, Christianity. I think there's some in Judaism as well. Again, they don't feel like they're an exclusive group, but you need to respect them. And most people do already have a pretty good, if you've been very, very clear with your directions and clear with what you've been knowing, they aren't that hard to call in. Just be respectful, and they're going to be respectful back. Again, if you got their back, they got yours. So that's what I've got. They're very, very welcoming and would like to help disperse what people call as evil or dark energies. Oh yeah, they're down. Just respect them, or they will not be respectful to you. So that's kind of the messages that I would like to give there. All right, now we're going to six-dimensional beings. So, let's take a look-see. What's kind of going on with our six-dimensional beings? What's going on with our six-dimensional beings? So, what are six-dimensional beings, and what is their purpose? Let's take a look. Six-dimensional beings. What are their purpose? The Tower card reversed. We're here to avoid disaster. Why is this? The Emperor. Six-dimensional beings to me are, what's kind of coming to my head, they're like the oracles of, they're the oracles or the you know how you can have, like, I don't know, in D&D you have the really, really high wisdom, like, D&D characters? That's what this feels like. It's like, I want you to avoid disaster. Why is this? To not be greedy or selfish or have control over each and everything. These are kind of like, I'm feeling like my Zen as like oracles who provide wisdom to all. Maybe not in the most direct form, but very much very, very wise individuals. Like, and that's their purpose. Is like, we provide wisdom of the past so to the present. Because what lessons or aid do they provide us here on the 3D? The Fool. They also are the bridge. They're the bridge. Okay, so how I would describe them? Yeah. I'm looking at the chat a little bit. Like Gandalf or Yoda. Yes. I'm also getting, like, as soon as I saw Yoda, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's kind of exactly what this is like. It's like Yoda. Very much. It's like, I'm here to avoid disaster. I've seen a thing or two, so I know a thing or two, right? Because I want you to avoid the pitfalls of time and how it has its rise and falls, and how can we get you out of this cycle? Because we're also the bridge to knowledge. They're the bridge to learning from the past. I get Akashic records here. This is Akashic records. That's the sixth dimension is Akashic records, and who has access to those Akashic records. How do we learn upon them? How do we look upon them? How do we communicate upon them? Because what do they think of us here on the 3D plane? They think we are disconnected from our Akashic records. We're disconnected from them. We really, if someone actually can able to contact the sixth dimension or sixth dimensional beings, I should say more, it's very difficult to do so because they feel that we are so isolated away from everyone. We're there, but we're not. How they see us is like we're in our own little bubbles just going through life. And we are so disconnected from everything else around us. Because, like, how would you even start to connect with them? The Two of Swords. So, how would you work with them? How do you work with six-dimensional beings? You must go seek them out. This is, like, deep meditation. This is asking specifically for them. This is trying to, and again, there is not a roadmap. again, she's just, this is like, you don't, this is, you have to go searching for them. Again, you had to go searching for Yoda, right? He was not an easy man to find in the original trilogy. There's not many of his kind around. There's not many of these types of six-dimensional beings around. And it's not like there's a roadmap to find them. It's like, oh, they're just out and about. It's almost giving me like, it's not that they're travelers per se, but again, they're not an easy dimension to get to because there's not a lot of entry points there. But they can see everyone, but no one can see them. Or it's like they can see everyone, but everyone seems to be in their own bubbles. At least in the 3D sense, like from a 3D perspective, we're in our own bubbles away from them. And to go searching for them, it's like you almost need to go pop. Our bubbles need to get popped to even go see them. Because negative energy here to work with them, with the King of Cups. There's a lot of different types of six-dimensional beings. You never know what you're going to get. And that's kind of what I'm seeing. It's like you don't know who you're going to get. There's, you know how in the 3D you can have the good and the bad people? The same thing can kind of be said about six-dimensional beings because they're very similar. That's also a very, like, you don't know who you're going to meet or how they're going to be. How do I put this? You know how there's like these really powerful, how do I put this? It's hard to put this into my brain, but you know how there's like councils, okay, gods, goddesses, okay, here it goes, gods and goddesses. This is kind of what I would see a little bit with our six-dimensional beings. They're gods and goddesses. You don't know what you're going to meet. If it's going to be a good god or goddess, if they're going to have a good perspective, bad perspective. That's what this is looking like. You don't know if you're going to meet a hag. You don't know if you're going to meet an archfey. You don't know if you're going to meet a god of thunder or the god of death, or you don't know who you're going to meet because they're all so very, very different, but they're also all very, very powerful. And that's kind of like the negative to our six-dimensional beings. You don't know who you're going to meet because they got a lot of different personalities. All right, what's positive? The Justice card here. So when, like, a positive to meeting us or working with a six-dimensional being, I would say, is they have a sense of, how do I put this? They have their own sense of justice. What is right and what is wrong. They're very morally and ethically driven individuals. Where it's like, I know the direction that they are. They're very specialized. They have their niches that they are in. And that's kind of what this is. Yes. Yeah, everyone's kind of has their niche. So when you meet the one that's in your niche, that's the one that you're in. Okay. I don't know if you've contacted them. The Wheel of Fortune reversed. I don't think you can contact the six-dimensional beings as easily as it was in the past. Because what I get here is like they've closed that connection off. These are very like spacey type of individuals, like alien type of into things, and they aren't easily connected anymore, maybe due to circumstances on Earth. I also get, I don't know what's the barrier around Earth as well. There seems to be some sort of barrier. And so it's like communications don't go through as well as they should have, as they have in the past versus in the current. There's some sort of disconnect there. Very hard to connect with these individuals on a one-to-one basis versus like in the past. Messages that we'd like to take away from the Eight of Swords upright. If you want to go and talk to them, it's a long, windy path. And you know what? They might not be there at the end of the tunnel. So that's what I'm kind of seeing. People are like, and this is what I'm like, you know how we have like our major religions, our monotheistic religions today? People are like, oh, we can connect with them. You can. Very difficult though. doesn't happen often, maybe once every couple generations when the stars align, right? That's what I'm kind of feeling here with, it feels more of these polytheistic religions, with like the pantheons with Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology. Some people will look at it with pagan mythology, Norse mythology, Hinduism. And I think there's another one I'm missing off the top of my head. And I know I'm missing a ton of like more culturally ethnic religious groups as well. Just not as familiar with them, sorry. But again, that's what it's kind of feeling like, is like if you want to connect with them, it might happen every few generations. But it's really hard to connect with them. But they're there, but you just you're gonna get trapped, I think, along the path, and it's not going to be well lit. There's not a lot of guideposts or roadmaps of which to connect with them with. Also, yeah, I'm looking at the chat now, and I'm like, hi, Rosethorn, welcome. I'm like, yes, looking with the Orishas. Again, this is giving me, like, the six-dimensional beings are more of our gods and our goddesses from our past that were more of, like, those those polytheistic religions. Okay, so we found them. I don't know, 7, 8, and 9, what's going to be coming from that, but that's what we got so far. Oh yeah, and you hear about the barrier with our dinosaurs and go boom. Yes, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, there's a weird barrier that's out there, and I don't know what that's all about, man, but it makes us really hard to connect with more, I think, of alien. Some people would call them more alien-like figures or deities, allegedly, is what I'm seeing. So, yeah. Alright, so now we're on what? Number 7? I should have wrote these down and then just started crossing things off. We're lucky I'm able to count right now, y'all. So, let's take a look at number 7. It's our 7th dimensional beings. What's kind of their purpose? And kind of go from there. Alright. So our 7th dimensional beings. Let's take a look here. What do they all mean? Really? Interesting, it's Lathan. I'm interesting. Yeah, it would make a lot of sense why it feels so lonely. Again, they're really hard to find. It's not that they're not there. It's like that path is just so hard to go down. And it's like they're like at a way long end of it. So interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at our 7th dimensional beings. What is their purpose to this whole thing? The 10 of Pentacles upright. We're here to share our knowledge with other people, places, and or things. Our wealth of knowledge, our banks of information are yours to know about. Why is this the 4 of Cups upright? Because we want you to focus on this lifetime, not in the past. I better write this down. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. Okay, because here's the thing that I'm like feeling really hard with this group is 7. I don't know why they don't want me talking about them. I keep wanting to say, oh, let's go to 8, let's go to 9. They do not want me to, I don't know why, but this is a really hard energy for me to attach to or try to understand. It's like, I want you to forget about us. Just saying. Yeah, because it's like we have the knowledge, we have the banks, we have the legacy, and we want you to just focus on the here and now. You don't need to focus on us. But what lessons or aid can they provide or service the moon? We're not telling you jack shit. What the heck? It's like, no, we're keeping our secrets to ourselves. I've also never gotten the moon card in this deck. So interesting that it's coming up reversing. We're not going to tell you. We don't, nope. Because what do they think of us? The Queen of Swords. They think you're a nosy busybody looking to get wisdom and knowledge. Hey now, why are you calling me out like this? It's like, we got the information, but we don't want to share it with you. Because you aren't supposed to know our secrets. I'm being a nosy busybody wanting to know everything about us. How to connect with them? Queen of Pentacles first. Just don't connect with us. We don't want to work with you. Because some negative energies here. It's like you got too much. I don't know. They're calling me out. It feels like more than other people. Seventh dimensional beings don't want to work with me at this point in time, so I'm apologizing because it's like negatives here. It's like the Five of Wands. Yeah, we're like, if you would want to work with us, like you're gonna have to go through. You need peace. You need harmony in your life. However, you can move towards us. Okay, I am moving there. I would just say right now, like seventh dimensional beings, I just don't think they want to work with me or tell me too much because, like, it might be just where I'm at in my point in life and where I'm kind of working towards and what I'm doing right now. Because, like, how do I know, when I contacted them? It's the Knight of Pentacles here, which is, like, I will be there. Like, how I know I'll be able to contact them is when I'm in a very steady progress moving forward. Because like the message to take away from this is the King of Wands. Your King of Wands reversed, which is you're kind of being a little bit all over the place. We need you to just take a chill pill. You kind of keep focusing on your own stuff is kind of what this is feeling like. So that's what it's kind of feeling like here with the seventh dimensional people. I just don't think they want to work with me right now. I think it might be give me like, I don't know, a year or two. I don't know. They're saying no. I don't know when they want to work. I don't know if they want to work with me ever. I'm hearing yes, it's just not at this point in time. Again, they however, they are seeing me as the Queen of Swords, which is kind of my indicator I found a lot. So I don't know. They're like, you want to find the truth, but it's like I just can't find it. Yeah. So I'm gonna see if I can do 8 and or 9. And then we'll see where we are there. Because, yeah, 7 I'm going to need to come back to. They're just like, you don't get to know jack diddly squat. So, okay. So let's just take a look at 8 really quick. We'll just see if they want to talk or let me know any information. And then we'll go to 9 and we'll ask the same stuff and kind of just go from there. But again, yeah, 7 just not wanting to work with me right now. Is kind of what this is looking like. So let's just take a look at 8 here really quick. What can we know about 8th dimensional beings? What purpose do they serve? The 6 of Pentacles, they give and take. 8th dimensional beings as well, you do contracts with them. Also, they need an offering of some sort. Why is this? Because of the Knight of Swords. You can't just dive head into working with them. You need to have contracts in place. You need to be able to, again, you know how we were like doing like the respect with the 5th dimensional beings and our angels? It's the same kind of thing here with our 8th dimensional beings, which is you need to have a contract into place. You need to offer them up stuff. It is a very much a give and an equal give and take, and you can't just jump into working with them. Because here with what lessons do they provide? It's the 8 of Swords. It's like they allow you to, once you work with them, it's like the worries kind of go away. Worries go away. You're able to step away from things that bind you. You're able to see things on a clearer dimension. I don't know if they do not work with people in the 8th dimension, or they do not work with people in the 3rd dimension. This is almost like, you know how we were talking about like the 4th dimension people and how they were very, how do I put this? Again, they were very meditative in state. I feel like 8th dimensional beings work very well with 4th dimensional beings. They work very well. Like those are where contracts are potentially made, is kind of what I'm seeing. And so there's a give and a take, an offer given. Because the hopes and because from like, what do they think of 3rd dimensional beings? The 10 of Wands. It's like it's not that we don't have time for you, but it's like we have other burden. Like you aren't a burden that we can worry about right now. It's like we need to restructure. You guys need to restructure what you guys are going through. And again, it's like they're just 3-dimensional beings and them just they don't work together. They just don't. It's like, it's not an unspoken rule, but it's just like they don't work together because like the outcomes or things that they're working for or working towards are very different than what three-dimensional beings are going through. Because like I'm saying how to work with them, but like or how to work or to avoid these energies. It's just work on yourself. It's work towards your own success, work towards your own happiness. Again, for eighth dimensional beings, it's like you just work on you, boo. Just work on you. Just work on you. Because negatives with them, again, the Three of Pentacles, they are not easy people to work with. Like, they're not easy dimensional beings to work with. You just don't want to work with them. Again, 4 and 8 work very well together. Positive energy for them is the One of Pentacles, though. If you want to work with them, again, I just don't think they mesh well together with three-dimensional beings. But they're very good at starting new things and putting things into practice. I almost think, I don't even think we have an equivalent on the 3D plane to what an eighth dimensional being is. It's like, I just don't think that we have an equivalent for them. How we would explain it. It's like the highest level that 3D beings kind of get to is probably like 6. It's like 6. It's like that's kind of like as high as we can kind of like interact with directly. But with like the eighth dimensional beings, this is very much like contracts, give and take. Again, I'm just not getting an equivalent to how we would look at this, because like how do you know if you would be contacting them? It would be all about meditation, connecting with, again, this is like letting go of that shadow self, and then just messages to take away from that is the Seven of Wands. They are about total transformation. It's like, get through your three-dimensional self and then we can talk. Again, it's like, get through your three-dimensional self. Just worry about your three-dimensional self. Because 8th dimension is it's like a whole different ball game, that it's like almost like how do I see this? It's like 4th dimensional beings. Remember how we were saying they meditate and then they are given inspired action? They are given inspired action from 8th dimensional beings. That's how I would see that. And they have and that's who they contract with or work with that well. So that's what I would kind of see. And it's like, and maybe that's why you need that 4th dimensional being to maybe work with them, because like you need to figure out a lot of stuff within the 3-dimensional before you can work with 8th dimensional, is kind of what I'm getting. It's like, just work on yourselves, boo. Just work on yourselves. Work on probably self-love. Some people are saying in chat, yeah, tough love, self-love. Yeah, it's very much that, where it's you got to work on yourself, boo, before you can even start talking to us, because they are not easy to work with, again. So that's what we're getting there. And let's take a look at 9th dimensional beings. What can we know about 9th dimensional beings? And then we're going to go into the fun stuff, right? So let's go into the 9th dimensional beings. Hey, JJ. And then, yeah, lots of self-love again. I know these 7th dimensional beings, though, man. I wonder why I'm getting like super pushback from them, because gosh darn it all, that makes me so sad. It makes me so sad that we couldn't get anything about them, but I understand. I'm just not there yet. But let's take a look at their 9th dimensional beings and what can we get, what information can we learn about them. So what purpose do 9th dimensional beings serve? The 4 of Wands. Interesting. Why is this? 9th dimensional beings are like you know how everything that you've learned up until, it seems like everything that you've learned from 1 to 8, once you get to 9, everything is flipped on its head. Everything gets flipped on its head again. Because it's like you need to go back and you need to reminisce and you need to be like, what the heck just happened? It's giving me like mind flip. That's the thing. It's like and with ninth dimensional beings, your whole mind, your whole consciousness shifts to something completely different. And it's like the whole world, the whole universe. It's not even a universe though. It's not even the world. I don't know how to explain it, but it's the cosmos. The cosmos open up to you, and it's like space is relevant, time is relevant. Everything that you know or you thought that you had like been elevated to, it's like everything gets rewritten again. And that's what it is with ninth dimensional beings. Everything gets, you have to relearn everything again. You start as a beginner. Because what lessons can they aid? Yeah, it's the higher self, your higher knowing, your higher being. It's like, what lessons or aid do they provide? It's like, again, you get to look at the cosmos again in a completely different light, and what is connection, what isn't connection. What do they think of us in the 3D? They think of us as punk ass kids who'd move without thinking, who just do things, who just can't, like, they see us as not ants, but as small creatures just going through the motions of the instincts and the things that have been provided and that we've been learning. They look at us like we might look at ants. That's how ninth dimensional beings see us. They see us as we see ants, is what this is kind of looking like. More dangerous ants, but still ants nonetheless. Because how do you work with them? It's the magician reverse. They don't. You don't work with them. You don't work with ninth dimensional beings. They are observers to the things going on around us. Because the magician reversed here, it's giving me like, we're on a tall tower and we just observe things going on around us. We look at the actual different connections that we are now relearning. But here's the really weird thing about ninth dimensional beings. It feels like ninth dimensional beings walk among us. Not in maybe the same plane, but they walk amongst us, but not alongside us. Which is interesting. And that's kind of like, how do you work with them? Well, they walk by us every day. They observe. What I kind of see in my mind is they go by and they see all the connections between the trees and the people and the cosmos and the other dimensions that are kind of stacked on top of one another. They see the connections to everything and how the cosmos are like aligned in different, and how everything is connected amongst the cosmos. It's not like each dimension is separate. It's each dimension is a part of the whole cosmos, and how do those all connect? Oh, this is super cool. Because like negative things amongst them with the Ten of Swords reversed, it's again, all the rules get thrown out the window. All the rules get thrown out the window again. That's the negative. It's like all the rules get thrown out the window. You have no idea. You're at the bottom. You start at the bottom again. And you have no idea which way to go. And everything that you thought you knew gets flipped on its head. Because here is what's positive, but you get to start anew. You get to start a new knowledge base of how things work. How do you know if you've connected with them? Again, this is giving me like, just work on yourselves, boo. You don't need to worry about this shit because you got other things to worry about within the 3 dimensions. Again, it's like, how do you know? Well, you got to connect with yourself. And when connecting with yourself, you can then connect with other beings and or groups. Because a message for everything is the 10 of Pentacles, which is this door will be closed to you because the vault isn't ready. Because it's like the vault that you thought that was there is not. Like, there is no vault. So There is no vault. There is no vault. What you thought was a vault of information is no vault at all. This is super cool, but also super wild. I'm not understanding everything that I'm seeing, but this is, gosh, again, it's like you start as a beginner again. And if we're looking at like one, like numerology as well, like 1 is like the start of new beginnings, right? And 9 is the closing or the ending of cycles. So it makes a lot of sense as like, oh shit, like 9 is like I'm beginning a whole new cycle because like we're ending of the old one. So like everything that we built upon now, we now see it's not, everything is connected. It's not separate how everything was in the past. This is super cool. Yeah, everything is connected. Everything is super connected, but it's like it's connected in ways we don't even imagine or know, which is super cool, in my opinion. That's cool for ninth dimensional beings. It's like they get to be beginners again. But here's the thing: your ego gets crushed in the fourth dimension, so you don't have an ego about it. It's like it's always a beginner's mindset. It's a super cool. I don't know. I am. My mind is kind of just being blown right now, and I'm enjoying this a great deal. I don't know if y'all are, but I am just like, kaboom! This is super cool. I don't know, man. So we have some general questions that we had wanted to get asked, and one of them was like, can any soul go to any different dimension? Again, I'm saying no, but then okay, so how does one ascend and or descend again? And so when it comes to 2 and 3, I should say 2 and 3, they are almost connected. Like they're parallels again. Remember, they're like do. You can go back and forth very, very easily. And you know how I was saying that like third dimension is like the second or third hardest dimension, I think, to get through, like to just live in. Again, if I'm having to look at harder ones for the second, like between the second and the third dimension, like ones that I would rank above it are 8. 8's a really, really hard dimension to get through. But the toughest dimension, I think, to actually get through is 1. 1 is the hardest dimension to get through. I think it goes 1, 8. Yeah, 1, 8, 3 would be my top 3 for the hardest dimensions. The first dimension is the absolute hardest to get through. Because this is where you're building things up. It's very, very hard to get through the first dimension. 8's also very, very difficult for some reason. Or 8's difficult. Is it like the second? Would we put 8 as like the second most difficult dimension? Yeah. Again, first dimension's really hard. Third dimension's is tough too. But 8's hard. Number 1's the hardest though. At least that's where I would put things. So what we're going to take a look into is, and I think this is kind of different for each one, which is, and I think what we're going to look at is how do we ascend essentially from the third dimension? I think that might be poignant to kind of who we are and the such. So how do we ascend from the third dimension? So let's just take a look here. How does one ascend from the third dimension? I think that's just makes a lot of sense right now. So, how does one ascend from the third dimension? The 9 of Cups, upright. Manifestation, hard work, emotional fulfillment, and feeling content. Okay, so how does one ascend essentially from the third dimension? It's by learning that what we have and what makes us the happiest at the end of the day, what makes us successful at the end of the day. What are those? How do we feel emotionally fulfilled? Is money everything that it's needed to be? It's like, because From a material sense, it's like, how do we ascend? It's like, do you give up your family? What truly matters? Is it money? Is it material things? Is it emotional things? Is it emotional security and or stability? Because the Two of Pentacles, it's like you have to balance it's balancing ego and pride. It's balancing ego, pride, emotional fulfillment. What truly drives you? Your passions, success, whether that be financially, emotionally, mentally, physically. The unseen obstacle, though, is happiness, which is what truly makes you happy at the end of the day. What is your happiness? Where is it rooted? Is it truly rooted in your existence, or is it rooted in the things that you were able to do with your existence? And finding happiness through that. Because your opposing energy here is the Nine of Pentacles, which is losing it all. Positive energy, Queen of Cups, reversed, which is kind of being a little bit of a bitch. But what I'm seeing here more is through the twister of life, through these underwater turbulent times, these underwater whirlpools, essentially. What is the true cause of things? Where does your turbulence really start? Because here in the past, the Three of Wands, which is your 2D existence. You started in your 2D existence, and then here to the future, it's the Empress, which is, how do you feel nurtured? Feeling abundant, feeling prosperous. I would say the majority, and this is just a quick download, the majority of people who actually ascend to the next dimension, I should say, are probably people who don't have a lot of money, but are so full, but have had a successful life. I am getting in the people who have been born to, who are in, might have never had a lot of money, gone on fancy trips, cars, money, fame, success. Those aren't the people who ascend. The people who ascend are the ones who don't have all those things. The people who have, where they've succeeded is in building family, friends, trust, and feeling successful without all the fancy things, but successful in the connections that they have built. That's how I see ascension. It's the people who have found happiness with not the things that they have, but the connections that they've built. And I think that's a pretty powerful message when we're looking at ascension. It's like your ego and your pride have been thrown out the window, because all that really, really matters is what you've accomplished at the end of the day, and how do you feel accomplishment within yourself. So, all right. So that's what I'm looking at, like how to ascend. So what I'm going to do next, Armando just asked a really, really great question. So I'm going to grab my 20-sided die. I'm going to grab one that actually works. And I'm going to ask, because he asked, like, how many, in general questions, how many dimensions are there? Well, let's take a look. Like, how many dimensions are there typically that we should know about? Because, again, it feels like number 9, you're resetting. So, like, there's got to be something above that, right? But let's take a look. I'm going to roll a die, a 20-sided die, and we're going to see how, in general, how many dimensions are there typically? 2? That doesn't make a lot of sense. What do you mean 2? What do you mean that there's only 2 dimensions? That doesn't make any sense. What? What do you mean only 2? Like, okay, let's grab a different die. This is super weird. I've never had this happen before. Okay, let's retry this. Let's try this again. How many different dimensions are there? Maybe. That could be 2. That could be. The 9 plus 2, I mean, it could be. It could be. I know, Armando. I'm really confused too. Okay. And then we got 9. Kamran, I think you might have cracked the code. 9 plus 2. 9 plus 2 just and then we got 11. Oh, just add 2 more. And then I got a 9. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I don't know. Like, apparently we got 11 dimensions. Okay. Oh my god. Oh. There you go. You got it. So quick question. Since we only have 2 more dimensions to go, it seems like should we just do 10 and 11 tonight and see? Should we see if we can get 10 and 11? Let's see if we can get 10 and 11. I'm going to write them down. I'm going to see if we can get 10 and 11. Okay? Let's see if we can get 10, the 10th dimension and the 11th dimension tonight. Let's see if we can do so. Okay? How does that sound? Does that sound good, y'all? Because that was wild. That was pretty darn cool, y'all. So let's take a look. 9 plus 2 more. I'm like, okay. So let's just take a look at let's take a look at the 10th dimension since we're so gosh darn close. I know. That was pretty dang. I'm laughing pretty darn hard. That was pretty darn cool. So let's check her out. Let's take a look at let's look at the 10th dimensions. Let's look at 10th dimensional beings, and let's take a look at what their purpose is. Yes, Kamran. Yes, 12th dimension equals union with the divine / non-duality. Yes, I'm believing that as well. Yeah, the 12th dimension is when you go back into the cosmos, I'm assuming. All right, so let's take a look. 10th dimension. Let's get into this. What's their purpose? The Ace of Cups. This is where you let go of all emotions, and it's where it's like emotions, ego, pride gets stripped away. Because now it is a time of engagement, of enthusiasm, of... So we're with the 9th dimension, it was more along the lines of the world's getting flipped back on its head. Now we're learning to... I feel like we're in a creator mode. 10th dimensional beings are creators. We get to create and build and look at different things. Because what lessons or aid do they provide us, the 5 of Swords? They don't provide aid to us at all. It's like they are just creators. They just go in and they create and make and do different things around with other people. Because what do they think of us? They're like, we create your world. We are your creators. We are the ones that rule your world. You have no bearing on what goes on. Ooh. Because can we work with them, the 4 of Swords? You can't. They are above us. You are down here. We are up here. You don't work with them. Again, you know how like 9th was like they walk amongst us but not beside us? 10th dimensional beings are way, way, way up ahead. They are way up ahead of us. Just creating and doing different things and bringing upon creativity and joy. Because the opposing energy here, or the negative energy here, is the secrets. Oh boy, people might get a little mad at me about this, but 10th dimensional beings, you know how people call it fate, divine beings, how some people feel like we're living in a simulation? That's kind of how I would see this, is like if we were understanding of the 10th dimensional beings, it's like they've created our simulation. They've created our simulation. These are the people who've created these circumstances. They've molded each dimension to be what it is. That's what they're at. Because the positive energy that they have here is just as they can create, they can take it away. Just as they can do different things, they can take it away. Just as they give life, they can cut it down. How do you know if you've connected with them? The Nine of Wands, the Dead of Night. They connect to us through the clouds. They connect to us through our environment and things around us. They can't connect with us directly, but they can connect with our environment around us because that's what they have hold or creation of. They create the environments of the dimensions, but not the beings themselves. Uh, they create the environments of which each dimension operates, essentially. Yeah, similar to the Matrix, I would see. And a message to take away from this is the Justice card reversed. They are judge, jury, and executioner of our environments. You don't respect our environments, well, we'll just change it up. How I see this, do I think God is in the 10th dimension? No. God is no 10th dimensional being, which is really weird. God is no 10th dimensional being. I don't know where God is, but he's not in the 10th dimension. This is, I don't know who you would describe this as, but creators, they get to create, get to destroy, they get to build, they get to play what we would like to call God, but yeah, Qumran, yeah, sounds like the valor of Tolkien. They shape the world, but Eru, God creates beings, and that's what it feels like, yes. They are the 10th dimensional beings are the ones who create our environments around us. They create the world, but not the beings that live within it. Yeah, like Gaia too. Yeah, this is very much like this is the 10th. That's the 10th dimensional being. Okay. Let's take a look at what we can get from the 11th dimensional beings here. Let's see, what can we get about the 10th dimensional beings? What can we get about them? What can we get about 10th dimension, or the 11th dimensional beings? What can we know about them? What can we know about 11th dimensional beings? The 10 of Pentacles again, reversed. To let go of the people and things around us. Why is this the King of Cups? So for 11th dimensional beings, I'm going to grab something out really quick. Because this one's tricking me up a little bit. That's what I thought. 11th dimensional beings, they don't want to give up their secrets of what they give, of their purpose currently is. Or it's not they don't want to give everything up, but what's in the bottom? Illusions. Not as all as what it seems as well. Along with the King of Cups upright, which is they serve multiple different purposes. 11th dimensional beings serve multiple different purposes. It's not just one thing that they serve or what that they do. They're the ones that put up the veils. That's what this is. They're the ones that put up the veils. Because when we're looking here at the 10 of Pentacles as well, as you can see, you have all these trees, but then you have the clearing in the middle of it, right? They are the walls that keep everything separated. They are the ones that have multiple different arms and things that they can go out to. The 11th dimensional beings, there's not many of them, because it feels like a lot of them do get to that place. They go almost exactly to 12 right away. But with the octopus here with the 8 arms, they hold the walls between dimensions up. Because what lessons do they aid? This 5 of Cups, which is mourning, grief, moving on. They are the ones that 11th dimensional beings are the ones that are responsible for that transition from one to the next, or from one dimension to the next dimension. It doesn't mean that you go in chronological order. It's not like, oh, you go from 1-dimensional to 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional to 5-dimensional to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, da da da. No. This is. They are the. Do I think they're like the judge, jury, and executioners? A little bit. They're like the judge, jury, and executioners. They are the ones that decide if you go or you stay. Where do you move? How do you move? Not everyone goes from 3 to 4. I would say maybe 5% ever go to 3 to 4. A lot of them actually probably move from 3 to 7. There's like 20% of people move from 3 to 7. Like, some people go from, not a lot go from 2 to 4, but like a lot of go from 2 to 6. Like, and not a lot of people go to 5. Again, it's, there's a lot of, there's not a, you go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It's not like that at all. And it's like these 11th dimensional beings kind of are guiding the souls of where 3 to 7 is. I don't know why I can't get 3 to 7 out of my head, whatever that means. 3 to 7. Maybe that's just whatever. But 2 to 6 happens more often, and not a lot of people go to 4. But then there's a few that go for, if you go to 4, you're like, there's like a 50% opportunity that you're actually going to go to 8, which is really interesting. But 1 never goes past, if you start at 1, you can only go to 2. From 1, you have to go to 2. 1, you can't go anywhere else, but 1, you have to go to 2. Okay. So that's from like the 11th dimensional shenaniganery. So again, that's what they provide. They provide that, like, from like this to this. 1 always goes to 2 though. 1 always goes to 2. It never skips. 1 never goes to 1. Always goes to 2. Okay. What do they think of us 3D folk? 3 of Cups. They really like us. They want to see us succeed. 3 to, I don't know if there's ever been a 3 to 11. I'm hearing no, but 11th dimensional beings want to see us succeed. They love to see us grow, change, and hop up and go and like keep growing and changing and evolving to that next version. They always love seeing that. That's how they see us. They see us as always growing and working with other people. How do we work with them? The Knight of Swords. You kind of just have to dive right into working with them. Do I think that they're easy to work with? No. And I think they're really hard to connect with. But if you just dive headfirst into working with them, you can work with them to an extent. However, the negatives here, the Tower card, if you work with them, you don't change. Or you're avoiding all the lessons in between. And just because you go from 3 and you're working with an 11 doesn't mean that you're going to 3 to an 11. That's never happened. It would be like 3-dimensional, you work with an 11-dimensional, and you might end up in like a 5-dimensional. Because 1, you don't know where you're going to go. But 2, it's wherever you end up, there's a couple times too where it feels like people from the 3D tried to work with an 11D person and they got sent right back down to 1 because they did not listen. So that's what that's kind of looking like. But looking with the past here, or the positive energies. If you do work with them, or I shouldn't even say if you work with them, they are extremely knowledgeable and where to get and to meet your goals. However, once you meet your goals doesn't mean that you're going to be able to ascend. And most of the time you've met your goals and then you descend because you got to go back to school and relearn and you have to figure out a way to get out of one again. Again, the first dimension is the hardest dimension to get out of. And you can get booted right back down to there if you are not making good decisions. Because how do you know if you've contacted them? The Nine of Swords, you'll know, and you're going to not want to ever contact them again. Again, I would not contact or work with 11-dimensional beings. You'll get what you want, but after that, you're getting booted right back down because you need to learn. Because they're not there for... They'll be altruistic and help you out, but you're going to have to work your... You're going to have to work your ass back up to get where you even were. Because you have to restart. You don't get a cheat code. They aren't a cheat code for anything. Especially with that Nine of Swords. It's like, how do you know if you work with them? You know because you're waking up in the middle of the night. You're paranoid. A lot of people who are like, oh, I want to be successful. I want to learn the cheat codes. Have gone to people who've been working with 11th dimensional beings, but they don't know that in reality, when you work with them to get what you want, is you'll get what you want. But that means you have to start all over again at the bottom. Message to take away from that is the Page of Pentacles. Not all that glitters is gold. The offer of which you received is not exactly what it seems like. Be careful what you wish for. And that's what I'm kind of seeing with 11th dimensional beings. Yeah. That's what I'm kind of seeing. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm just reading chat here really quick. So, Kamran, human beings can go higher than angels and can experience God directly, which even Gabriel can't do. So we can bypass 11, go straight to 12 through the mystical path. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you can go, it's like training for a job or career or degree. Yeah, you can't, with the 11th, they are not a cheat code. You can work with them, sure, but they aren't a cheat code to getting you what you want in life. Or, I should say, ascending. But you have to get over your ego and pride. And again, it's like you have to go all the way back to school if you work with them. Yeah, again. And see, when I was looking at this, I'm not sure. Like, we can look into this because I'm actually kind of curious. So, so God, again, I'm not seeing what God is. I haven't figured out what level they are. And maybe God, in like what we've known in today's modern language, is the 12th dimension. I'm hearing that's a no, though, too. Oh, thank you, Bratty Becca, for the gifted memberships. Hello, and welcome. Level number 9, Anaris, Emily, Heather, Real Stella, welcome to the Sun Rays. Welcome. I really appreciate it. I hope y'all enjoy. Really appreciate it. Yeah. I'm going to ask, because I'm actually really curious. Like, so when it comes to God, who we see as this all-knowing being, and the such, what level are they? Because I wasn't really getting that. I couldn't get it. I don't know where we see God at. And I want to take a look at what level, what dimension even are they? So, that's weird. We got 14. What? Also, thank you, Bratty Becca, again. It's so much fun. I'm loving all the new people joining and having fun. We have a good time. I have a new members live actually coming out next Thursday. So if you're interested in that, we're going to be going through Freemasons, allegedly. Yeah, no, it's not allegedly. We're going through Freemasons and do they run the world. I don't know what's going to come up in that reading. I'm going to probably need to do a whole cleanse after that shit because it's going to be a fun time. Or triangle people, as people like to call them. Yeah, we're going to look at Freemasons, aka the triangle people. It'll be a good time. I know, 14. I'm not sure what that's all about because we were like, well, how many dimensions are there? We're like 11. Okay. And now we have 14. So what is God then? I don't know. Let's take a look because I don't know. I'm curious. Are y'all curious? Because I am. Because what the heck is God? Where does they fit in this whole thing? I don't know. I don't know. I'm so confused. What does God have to do with it? Because he has to fit, or not he, but they have to fit in somewhere to everything, right? Right? So where do they fit? I just don't know. So let's take a look. What is God? What is God then? The six, their pride, their ego. It's pride and ego wrapped up into the hanged man. God isn't a dimension. God isn't a dimensional being. God isn't a dimensional being. God is a dimension. God is a actual dimension. And I almost want, oh gosh, people are going to, oh boy, I don't know if people are going to be happy with what I'm about to say. But God is not a dimensional being. God is a dimension. God is the first dimension. That's what God is. God is the actual first dimension. God is the creator of dimension. And not God, it's not the 12th dimension. I mean, that is pretty actually God is the 12th and the first dimension at the same time. Now I'm hearing bells go off. Ding, 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 ding. God is the first dimension, but also the 12th dimension. Yes, God is not a being. God is a reality. It, again, if we're looking at it, because like we're looking at it, he's ego, he's pride, he's the starting of like a community. It's like, look at this card. And like if we look at both of these, I'm going to bring them both up to the camera so you can see them clearly. They're both locations. They're both light and they are dark. They're both cities in the middle of somewhere. God is also, the hanged man is number 12. God is a dimension. God is a location. It is the first and the 12th dimension. It is the beginning and the end. It is both. It is both. It is the beginning and the end of both. Because up here, man, there's our Knight of Cups. That's the first time he's shown up there. Because it's like, what do they provide? They provide an offer of emotions. Provide an offer of something new. Yes, that's what this is. The hope, because it's like, what does he think of us? It's the Knight of Pentacles. You are my children. You are my new creations. You are the things that I put out there. You are my abundance. His creations, his people, his soul. I keep saying, but their creations, their souls, they are their abundance, their prosperity, their showcase of their free will. God is every single soul. Because how do we work with God? The Eight of Pentacles reversed. Like, how do you work with them? How do we work or avoid these energies? You think you can't. You just are. You need to put, like, just don't work hard into being something, into trying to connect with something that you already are. Yeah. Yeah. God is the beginning and the end. It is the 12th dimension and the first dimension. It is like, you want to work hard to be God? Well, no, just be you. Something that's been told to me is God is the universe. Every person is a part of the universe. So if you believe in yourself, you believe in the universe. The same thing is this. Just as, and I know I might sound a little bit preachy. I understand. Trigger warning for those who might have heard, but it's like we are all children of God, right? We are all part of God. We are all a part of it. We are its beginning. We are its end. You don't need to work to become or gain its approval. You just need to be you, and then you are then giving out to others. Ooh, some negatives to it, though. The Hermit. Or I shouldn't say the negative. Well, not even the negatives, but the opposing energy to all this. The Hermit. God is. If you isolate yourself off from others, you isolate yourself off from God. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you yourself are isolated in hermit mode, then you are isolated from others. You are isolated from it. Yes, if we isolate ourselves from ourselves, then we isolate ourselves from a higher knowing, a higher being. If we connect with our one selves, though, and we do our self-reflections and we do that, then we are connected, right? Because the positive energy here is the Three of Swords. When it comes to God, it's like it's heartbreak, but it's also the circle of life. It's the circle of things coming in where you have to, the ending of you is not the ending of something else. When it's coming to God, God is, it's like, I'm not here to be a parent. I'm here to be you. So it's not that, and I know this is like maybe something some people struggle with. I know I have in the past, where it's like, I want to get the approval of others so then I can feel that approval for myself. That's an ego response. It really is. It's like, oh, you so desperately want the approval for others so you can feel like you're worth something, or it's like, and that's an ego response, right? Because you want others to make you feel good. When in reality, it's like, do you make yourself feel good? Yes. Because, here for past, in the past, the King of Wands, there's a lot of people who fall to their ego, their pride, who think they're the best things ever. But then a message, but also just like the future events here, it's the King of Pentacles. It's like you get to be greedy and a little bit selfish to everything when it comes to God. It's like, but it's also like you need to be able to give your shit away. It's like money at the end. You can be greedy and selfish in everything if you really truly want to be. But is that truly what it is? I also get really in this sense, it's like give shit away. You don't need to hold on to it for your own self. You can just give shit away. Also, there seems to be here with the past and the present, or the past and the future when it comes to God, there's a people have altered what it is. In the past, is like, this is going to be the end all be all. This is like the savior of all. But in reality, it's not. You are the savior of yourself. Here in the future, people are going to be wanting to do the tithes to God, to the tithes to this, to the tithes to that. And I'm like, bugger off. I would me giving to someone else is me giving to someone else. It's not giving me to God because I am part God. Not part God, but you are like you have a part of the universe, the cosmos, however you want to put it. The higher being or plane is the one of like you get, if you give to yourself, you give to them. If you give to someone else, you give to them, not the person up above. So that's what I'm kind of seeing here for God and the dimensional beings. And well, he's not a dimensional being, but he is a dimension. So again, he's the 12th and the first dimension. In my opinion, he's the beginning and the end of our cyclical cycles here. So that's what I'm kind of seeing in what we kind of look at as God. So I don't know. This is super cool. Yes, yes, yes. I'm just reading chat. It's like, yeah, first century Christians did not own personal property. All property was held in common by the community. Yes, that's what it's really feeling like. Like that is what this truly is. It's like no one owns shenaniganeries or stuff. It's like everyone owns everything. Yes. Mhm. 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 I don't know. That's what I'm kind of seeing. It's just a really, really, yes. It's a really, I don't know. And And I'd like to say I'm not like the most religious person. I don't know everything. I'm not claiming to, but this is what I'm feeling on like an energetic level. All right. So um, I want to take a look then at this is a really interesting comment that people wanted to look at. So we went through God, which honestly we needed to go through that because hot diggity dang, that was super cool. We touched on angels where they were. I want to take a look at cats. Um, oh yeah, this reading became way freaking bigger than what I expected. I thought, oh, we're just gonna look at dimensional beings. It's gonna be good. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna figure stuff out. And then we just like, oh, we went way off the rails, right? It's not even that we went way off the rails. It's just like we went and we just had like a. Yes, we're gonna look at Jinn. I also want to look at cats, cause people are like, cats, can they, like, we think that they can see into other into other dimensions, right? So I want to take a look at the cats thing really quick, and then we're gonna take a look into the Jinn, because I'm really curious. The second dimension is like full of a lot of stuff, is what it feels like. Everything resides on the second dimension, it feels like. At least a lot of the stuff that we are aware of here in our 3D reality. Like, second dimension's like chock full of stuff. And it's like, yeah, we can look at dogs and cats really quick. What do they see? Do they see things in other dimensions or not? So let's take a look here at cats first and see what they got. The Eight of Wands. Oh yeah, they can see it. Oh yeah, they can. Look at all those fireworks they see. They might see 8 different dimensions. I think they might see, okay. I mean, they could just be seeing the 8th dimensional beings that we were talking about earlier. But what I get you here, also, if we're looking, they see a lot of the ones that reside on Earth. But also look here at the bottom. They also see the reflection as well. Cats see, I would say, 5 different, can see up to 5 different dimensions at a time. That's the number I'm seeing. And that's kind of like the wave of spectrum that I'm kind of being shown. So they can see about 5 different ones at any point in time. Why is this the King of Swords? They look down upon everything. I don't know what the heck is going on with cats and dimensional beings. This is... but yeah, they look down on everything. They can see multiple ranges of dimensional beings because they look down on others. I don't know what cats are. This is weird. Because material influences here is the Temperance card reversed, which is... they're all in. Cats are all in. Those sneaky ass buggers. Cats are the physical manifestation of dimensional beings. And I'm going to say this. Cats are the physical manifestation of, like, I want to say 7th dimensional beings. Even though we weren't able to read the 7th dimensional beings, I'm feeling this. It's like they are the physical manifestation of 7th dimensional beings. Because the hopes and fears here is the Knight of Swords. Yeah, they can see things coming in. They are very, very fast. They see things coming in. They see all the multiple spectrums of things. The unseen obstacles that they have, the Page of Swords. They can't communicate they can't communicate everything that's going on around them. As the opposing energy here is the 5 of Wands, which is the fight. There's a fight within them. Also, okay, so how I would say this, not every cat is like a 7th dimensional, is like the physical manifestation of a 7th dimensional being. Not every cat is. But I would say that if you seem to have like a very intelligent sort of cat, uh, or if there's like a cat that seems to be like a little bit more human, or not human, but a little bit more otherworldly, I should say, they are uh that's who they are. There's also a fight here as well as kind of like the negative energy to this. It's like there is a fight to see the different dimensions with everything. Like they can't, sometimes I don't know if they can see each one distinctly. Or how do I put this? How do I put this? It's like they can distinctly see things. Hold on. Because the positive energy is the Six of Cups. Here in the past, cats, in my opinion, again, not every single one, not every, you know how they have the orange cat, like um, each orange cat, it feels like they have one brain cell that's shared amongst all orange cats. I don't know if that's too far off from the truth here. Um, because Six of Cups here, so like it's like this comes from the past. Five of Wands, we're fighting with people. And with the Eight of Wands. Not every cat not every cat is a seventh dimensional being, but any seventh dimensional being that takes physical form on Earth is a cat. Because here in the past, the Judgment, yeah, this is our way to connect. This is our way to look at people. This is our way to interact and do different things. But here in the future, the Chariot reversed. Gosh darn it all. Like, we're getting a lot of the same cards that we were getting for seventh dimensional beings. But the Chariot reverse, like, this isn't changing anytime soon. When it comes to cats, cats are always, I think, going to have that ability to see different dimensions. When it comes to the Chariot reverse, though, there's a sense of we're not changing anytime soon, but it feels like we're going to have less contact coming up here with less seventh dimensional beings taking physical form on the 3D plane, in my opinion. And that's what I'm kind of seeing. That's what I'm kind of seeing here. It's like, it seems like we're having less people or less seventh dimensional beings taking physical form in cats coming up. I don't know if this is just due to circumstances on Earth changing. I also think it's just the age of Aquarius. That's a ding, ding, ding. The age of Aquarius is not a time for seventh dimensional beings to be here on Earth. It's more of a time for Earth to get its shit figured out. Once the age of Pisces starts up, it seems like we're going to have more seventh dimensional beings coming back in with that aid, with them maybe showing up more in cats. Allegedly, in my opinion here. Again, maybe that's why I wasn't able to connect up with seven dimensional beings too, because it's like we're right in the middle of Age of Aquarius, and I don't think that they particularly play well within the Age of Aquarius. Or not play well, but it's like this isn't our purview. This isn't our sector, essentially, that we work with. This isn't our gravy, essentially. They work on a different level. I don't know what that is, but that's what I'm seeing. So, do you guys want me to look into dragons? I'm curious. Y'all want me to look into dragons? Or do you guys want me to start looking more? Or do we want to start going into some more of the two-dimensional, or do we want to go into more of the two-dimensional beings, like the Jinn, ghosts, house spirits, plant spirits, or I should say more like the FAE? Just let me know. Dragons, or do we want to go more into the two-dimensional spirits? So, I'm going to do this. I'm going to grab some water. Okay, y'all want to go into some dragons? Okay, so we're getting okay. We'll do dragons, and then we'll go into Jinn and some more of the two-dimensional beings, because, yeah, we haven't done anything with dragons yet, so let's take a look at some dragons! Alright. So, let's take a look into what the heck are dragons, y'all? What the heck are dragons? Where are they in this whole thing? So, yeah. Oh my gosh, I've been having a great time tonight, y'all. I hope y'all have been having a good time. This has been super interesting. I was not expecting my minds to be blown as much as it has been, but dang. Oh yeah, the dogs. Okay, sorry. Dogs, then Jinn. Hold on, I'm writing this down so I don't forget. Dogs, then we got dragons, and then we got the Jinn, and then we got fairies. How does that sound? That's what we're going to go with. That is our list. Dogs, dragons, Jinn, fairies. Well, I'm sorry to keep you up past your bedtime, Bratty, Becca, but dang, we're having a good time. I try. If y'all want me to do more, like, I can maybe go and do Fridays if that works better for people, so we don't go past big bedtimes. Sorry, Cameron, but how about this? We'll do dogs, then we'll do Jinn, then we'll do dragons, and then we'll do fairies. Because that's what we're going to do. I understand, and I do get it, because I know we've been saying we're going to do Jinn, and then they get put back, and then we get put back. And you know what? We'll do the dogs really quick, then we'll do the Jinn, then we'll do the dragons. Yes. So let's just do this. Dogs really quick. I'm sure this isn't going to take long. Yeah. How about dogs and dimensional beings? King of Cups. There are some that do show up in dogs, I would say, as well. Can they see them as well? No, but it's like there's maybe like a few of them at like one time, because they don't like dogs have a different type of energy versus cats when it comes to dimensional beings. Because sure, like, we do still want to connect when it comes with dogs, but again, there's not many of them that come in. King of Cups is like, we might have like 9 or 10 floating around on the earth at one point in time. Or I don't know. Dogs just dogs and also maybe depend on the breed as well, because there might be certain breeds that see them better than others because of the pedigree or things like that. But dogs, I don't feel like see dimensional beings all that much. Because the hopes and fears here, the Queen of Cups, they're too temperamental as well. They're also hardwired different, I'm getting. Because the unseen obstacle here is the Three of Swords. Dogs are more of a healing presence rather than a challenging presence as well. Because the opposing energy here to Four of Swords is the Four of Swords. That's like the type of dimensional beings that would go in dogs. They have a higher purpose. They have something, like, they're higher above. Like, the ones that want to go and heal, like, they are able to go and heal through different means, or like they have different ways of helping, versus like cats. Cats have a way of healing versus dogs, and they're two separate paths when it comes to like looking at dimensional energy. Because with the positive energy here, though, it's like dogs are also three-dimensional beings. And I think they stick to three-dimensional beings. They're all about change as well. They're more linked closely with people who take on a human incarnation rather than those who take on a feline or cat incarnation. Because here in the past, yeah, they aren't connected in with source. And the future events is like the Page of Wands. Like, yeah, they kind of just say one thing and then they do another. Dogs are also kind of dumb. Yes, and I would agree with that too. Let's look in here at the chat. Dogs are earthly protectors while cats are spiritual guardians. Yes, 100%. I would definitely agree with that, and that's a really easy way of putting it. because like they're just not connected in with that higher frequency. They're very much earthbound vessels. So, okay. Okay. I'm going to take a sip of water here really quick, and then we're going to go into Jinn. Ugh. So, let's take a look at what Jinn are. Again, I get them as more like two-dimensional beings, but let's just take a look at what are Jinn when it comes to essentially working with, in a two-dimensional sense, in relation to our 3D selves. So let's take a look at them. And we're going to use that same kind of spread that we were using. So what's their purpose? Why? What do they provide? And the such. So let's take a look. What is the purpose of Jinn? The Queen of Swords reversed. They're here to make a deal. They're here to make a deal and use their wisdom against you. Why is this? Because the Hierophant, you are not committed to your faith. You are not committed to your journey, to your healing, to your higher knowing, to your higher selves, to the cosmos. Jinn, it feels like, show themselves when you are on a conflict of faith. When you are in a conflict of faith is when the Jinn will show itself or offer you or offer something to you. Because what lessons do they aid and or provide? They provide the illusion of options. They provide the ability to make a choice, to think about things emotionally and bring clarity to situations away from things. It's like, I have options to give you. They challenge you, but they also provide you with options of where to go next. That's again up to your choice, to your choosing. What do they think of 3D people, of us 3D planes people? The Three of Swords reversed. They see us as people who can be healed. They see us as healing figures for themselves. Because when I'm looking at Jinn, I'm like, what were Jinn at one? Like, Jinn feel like at one point in time were people were 3D incarnate souls who, again, remember, we were saying there's a lot of parallels between the 2D and the 3D souls, right? Jinn feel like at one point that they were 3D souls that then went back to 2D, then went to 3D, then back to 2D, and then they found their comfortable spot in 2D. They found their comfortable spot within 2D, and now they look to 3D to heal them. They look to the 3D incarnates to heal them from their stuff so that they can then become 3D. So then hopefully to elevate. But it's like they're stuck within this 2D, 3D cycle. And Jinn are now stuck in 2D. They look to 3D to get them unstuck from 2D. Or they try to get other people from 3D stuck in 2D. Because it's a game to them in some way. That's what I'm kind of seeing here. It's like they were 3D, but now they are 2D. I don't know if they want to be 3D again, but they are stuck in 2D. Or not stuck in 2D. They choose to be in 2D. And I think they try to trick 3D to be in 2D so then they can come back to the 3D. No. It's a really weird thing with them. It's like they just are in this weird cycle between 2D to 3D and the such. Because how does one work with the Jinn? You don't. You just go away. You be a bitch and you leave them alone. Because the negative energy here with them is the Nine of Wands, which is you can leap into working with them very easily. They can be very tempting. It can be a very salacious offer. You can just jump into it without thinking. And a lot of people do. Because the positive energy with them is you will be stuck as well. You will be stuck with them as well. You do not get to move forward. You just get to be in whatever 3D, 2D thing that you have going on. How to know if you've been contacted by them? How do you know if you've been in contact with the Jinn? The Tower card reversed. You've narrowly avoided disaster, but by some miracle, whether by some offer. I also see this as you're still stuck, but you feel trapped. You feel trapped by decisions, or trapped by things going on around you. Do I see Jinn as like the devil? No. Do I see Jinn as... How do I really see them? They're ones that... Because what other information? They are a part of the human experience. That's what they are. They are not good nor evil, but they are part of the human experience. Someone would akin them to the physical manifestation of choice, of the dark night of the soul. And when you are going and revealing all the dark parts of you that are now coming to the forefront, what is that choice that you would have? What's the choice? They are part of the human experience. They aren't just a part of the human experience. They are part of the 3D experience of what is your choice. Do you choose? You have to reveal the darker parts of you. You have to explore those darker parts of you. So, as you explore those darker parts of you, what choice do you make? Where do you go? How do you deal? How do you handle? Do you take a way of disconnecting from your faith and from you to explore other options, or do you keep to your faith, to your higher knowing, and to your human experience? What do you do? So that's what it is. That's what they are. At least in my perspective, they are always a part of the human experience. They are of choice. Which direction will you choose? Which choice will you choose? So that's what I'm kind of seeing for them. That's what they are. That's what they are within the faith. It's like they represent choice, and they represent, do you address the darker parts of yourself, or do you become the darker parts of yourself? So that's what I'm kind of seeing for the Jinn. And everyone has one. So you're welcome, Cameron. I hope that answered some questions for you. And I'm not familiar with the Jinn at all. I'm not. I just know a little bit here and there, essentially from what you had left in your comments. So I appreciate all the intro. I appreciate all of the stuff that you've provided in chat, and I hope this it resonated with you, because hot diggity damn, I'm just putting things out there, and I'm seeing chat flying by, and I'm like, oh shit, I had no idea. So thank you. All right, now we're gonna go to dragons. Yeah, and I would agree. Every person has a choice. Every person has, what do you choose? Do you choose to give in to your dark, or do you choose to address your dark? And it feels like the Jinn make a choice. They give you an offer of, do you go with the dark, or do you address the dark? And again, it's all part of a human experience. So, okay, we're going to go to dragons here, y'all. Let's take a look at what dragons are. There's been a couple iterations of them in lots of media, for what they represent, what they don't represent. I've had my own fair share of run-ins with alleged dragons. So let's take a look into what's kind of going on. Yeah. Also, I had no idea, Kamran. I had no idea that was in line with traditional Islamic teachings. So, I really do appreciate the immediate feedback. All right, let's take a look at our dragons here. What is their purpose? The Six of Pentacles to teach you that there's no such thing as equal, give and take. Why is this the Nine of Pentacles? Dragons are interesting in that they're dragons are selfish beings. At least the ones that I'm picking up here. They're selfish beings. They take more than what they give because of they want their stuff. They want their things. They want to have stuff. And be good at what they do. Like, that's their purpose. Their purpose is to show off greed, but also show off the unequal or imbalance for things in this world. What lessons or aid do they provide? The Two of Cups. They provide the lesson of disconnecting from other people. I also get here that dragons themselves, like when we look at them, they're not as mythical as one would believe. I would say that they're a lot more common, in my opinion, than people would think. You know how we have Smaug in Lord of the Rings? Or not Lord of the Rings, this was The Hobbit with Smaug, and he was a very, very, very rich dragon. And you know how many dragons, or you know how many people actually, if you would put Smaug in like against some of the richest people in the world, you know he ranks 13th for wealth accumulated? We have people who are richer than a freaking gold hoarding dragon. So that's what it's like. They are a lot more common than what people would believe, and they are pretty selfish, greedy, hoarding golden dragons. Because, and that's what I think the thing is like they are shown to be this mythical great thing, but in reality they're a lot more common than what people think. Because what do they think of us, the Hanged Man? We are their society of which to control. They are our society of which to control. We are just a school of fish going around in circles in what we choose for them to go in circles around. How do we work with them? You just don't. Just don't do it. You don't work with dragons too particularly much. I also get the ones that I'm picking up are the ones in the 3D plane. Like, I'm picking up on 3D plane dragons, not like 2D ones. I'm picking up on 3D dragons. I would say this is more like alien type stuff. Because like, you don't work with them. How do you work with them? You just don't. Because they're just greedy, selfish people. Negative energy here, the Three of Pentacles. They're always going to tell you they want to work with you. They always want to work with you. They're always going to want to build something with you. However, the positive energy with them is the Two of Pentacles reversed, which is they are always going to think of themselves. They're always going to think of doing things good or for selfishly. How do you know if you've contacted them? The Five of Wands. Your internal alarm bells will be going off. Because the Five of Wands is like, it's like your internal alarm bells are going to be going off if you found one internally. You're going to be freaking the F out because like you're going to feel like prey. You're going to feel like oh shit. I also get that you almost feel a predatory gaze or a predatory manner around them. I also get like you break out into a very cold sweat. You know how people have had, there's been reports when people would see Bigfoot, like they almost like the fight or freeze mode. That's what it feels like when you encounter a dragon. Again, I'm not sure what form that they actually do take. Malak just came very, very quickly human. I don't know if there are humanoid, human form dragons out and about, but you know them because they're predatory. It's just an inner knowing. Because here, The message to them is the Page of Swords. As you're moving about in life, look at that lightning. They are there. They are dangerous, and they can always be around. That's what dragons are. Dragons feel more alien-like in nature rather than like a spiritual being per se. At least the ones I'm picking up on, which is really interesting because I felt dragons on like a spiritual level before, and I'm trying to figure out what they were compared to what I'm being told dragons are here in the 3D realm, which is weird. Very, very weird. I don't know. I don't know if that's what I'm seeing. That's very, very weird. It seems like we have got dragons. Yeah, I think too. Again, dragons are so much more. What I'm seeing here is they're very 3D incarnate individuals or like beings. They're 3D incarnate beings, but I know I've felt them on like a 2D sense. So like it's very interesting for me because like I've had a very different experience than what I just read in the cards. So I don't know. Okay, now we're gonna look at the fairies. Do I bring that deck out? Nope. Okay. Now we're gonna look at the fairies, and other things. So because dragons are weird. Weird, man. They're weird. I don't like them. And it's like, we got dragons running the whole gosh darn country. Or private corporations, it feels like. Yeah, I would explain a lot with that, too. With why authors are transforming them into humans, because I wouldn't be surprised. But you know what? If you've been around my channel long enough, well, y'all know we go to crazy town sometimes, and you know what? This live, it's no different. So let's take a look at the fae and fairies and the such. So let's take a look at what they are and have some fun there. I love my fairies. Everyone's like, the fae scare me, and I'm like, why? Why do the fae scare you so much? You respect them, and they respect you, and we have a good-ass time. That is my perspective. But then again, I love fae. It's the fairies, the fae. So, let's take a look here. Let's take a look. So, what is the fae's purpose? The Queen of Wands. They're the protector of the forest. They're the protector of the land. They are our nature spirits. They're the ones who are underground. Oh, man. Oh, my. So you mean we're talking about the underground fairy stuff, and that might all be true? Okay, fairy courts, wonderful, here we go. Why is this? Because this is their home. The earth is their home. The earth is their home. So the fae, nature spirits on a 2D plane sense. They're also here in the 3D sense, I'm getting. Or they can jump between the 2D and the 3D very easily, which is why I think people don't see them very often, because they are multidimensional beings. But the earth is their home. The nature is their home. That's what they are. That's their home. That's their foundation. That's their family. What do they provide? Lessons and aid that they provide. The Page of Wands. Reversed. They provide a childlike wonder for people, but also they are the first people who will kind of knock your pride and ego down. It's like, you want to try something? No, you're not. They're a little bit of a trickster. They like to say one thing and do another. They also like to hold you accountable. Is kind of what they do. They're accountability partners. They are accountability partners. And again, looking at the fae from like a 2D to 3D, they are dimension hoppers. So they can be in both at the same time. And that's why I think people don't see them, is because like you would see them in the 3D, but then they're going to jump to the 2D because they can hide in the 2D. And I don't know where they reside the most. 2D. They reside in the 2D the most, but they can go to the 3D. Looking at what did they think of us in the 3D? The Fool reversed. They think, oh boy. They look at us like you can't jump the bridge. Why can't you just jump the bridge? They see us as like not lesser than, but they see us as like nah who you can't jump the bridge like we can. Because like we can't jump the bridge like they can. It's like we can only stay in one plane at a time. They can jump into both. Because the unseen obstacle, or not the unseen, but like how can you work with them? The Seven of Pentacles reversed, which is how do you work with the fairies? Well, I would say this actually. How do you work with the Fae? You work with them by planting your seeds and working with them and building that common respect as you do any other religious being and or figure. It's you build it up. You plant your seeds. You build that repertoire. You build that respect. You put in your plants. You nurture those homes. That's what this is about. You're going to reap like if you put the time and effort in, you get to reap or harvest those relationships of which you've put in. I've also done this personally. I love the Fae. Again, I have 3 fairy houses in my house on top of 2 kitchen fairy houses in my kitchen. So I love the Fae. So that's like you cultivate those relationships with them. Negatives with them, the 8 of Cups. You can move on from them. I also think that, again, it's like if you want to do so, when it comes to them, with the Fae, it's very much like it's hard to walk away from them, 1. But 2, the path, it's not a one and done path with the Fae. It's like once you're working with the Fae, you work with the Fae. You work with them lifelong. It is not a destination, it is a journey when it comes to them. And not a lot of people I think understand that. It's like you work with them, you cultivate those relationships. It's a lifelong relationship with them. This isn't like, oh, I'm going to just pick you up and put you down when I feel like it. It's like, no, you work with them. Because when you do work with them, like the positive energy with them is the 10 of Cups. This is reversed. And I'm being told, no, it's not. But when you do put a relationship with them together, it is a lifelong one. It is one that is harmonious and back and forth. And it's not this one that'll stick with you, but with your with the next generation and so on and so forth with that respect. Because it's like, as you work with them in their home, they will work with you in your home, right? Because here in the past, the Tower, the Fae were booted from their homes at one point in time. I don't know if it feels like they had a very good stronghold here on the 3D plane, and then they had to get booted out. I don't know why. I don't know how. This could be with a lot of the teachings of the rise of Christianity, the use of iron, and I think there's one more I cannot remember off the top of my head. But it's like with a lot of more of this stuff coming in, it's like the age of the Fae having a stronghold on the 3D lessened. They had to go to Underhill, aka what I'm like to call their 2D plane. In my opinion, is kind of what I'm seeing, because here in the future, the 2 of Swords, which is, I don't know how much longer they're going to be around here on Earth with the direction that it's going. They have a decision to make of, like, what direction do they want to go into? Do they want to stay here, or do they want to cultivate on a different plane, essentially, it seems like. And that's what I'm kind of seeing with the Fae and fairies and the such. So that's what I kind of have for tonight. I hope y'all have enjoyed. I don't even know how long we've been live. I think I started at 6, so we're going on like 3 hours, Woo! Man, that's been a long live, but I hope y'all have enjoyed and had a great time. Are there any other questions y'all have while you got me still? I'm gonna go grab some more water, or I'm gonna actually go grab some more tea, and I will be right back. Hello, hello. I'm back, and I have tea. Tonight's blend is a citrus blend with a little bit of peach syrup in it. It is delicious, and my throat loves me. Okay, so it sounds like yeah, I would say yes. Sounds very similar to Jinn. They were pushed out of our world. Yes, I would say very very similar. Yeah, and yeah, they can stick with family and generations of people. Just respect them as you've always respected them. I don't know if I've unlocked the secrets of the universe, Slayton, but I am trying to just help people understand better, including me. Oh, yeah, mermaids! Shucks, we gotta do that. We gotta do that. We should do it. Or, would you all want me to do a separate video? Oh, yeah, try ginger tea with lemon and honey. Y'all have some really good suggestions. I don't have ginger tea, but I do have this lemon. Oh yeah, kitsunes too. Hold on. I'm gonna actually might do some separate readings on the different beings. So I'm gonna write these down. Kitsune, mermaids. Because I think I'm going to actually do a separate video on all of them. Because, again, I really want to dig into dragons. Because, again, I think that there's two different types of dragons out there. And I do want to do a separate video just on the FAE as well. And add that to the channel. Because then more people, I think, are going to watch it rather than sit through a 3-hour live. I also do want to look at demons more particularly, and also I want to take a look at what is it when it comes to first dimensional yes, Western and Eastern dragons are very different. I will agree on that. Maybe that's what I've been like experiencing, because there are ones that are very like the greedy, selfish ones, like what we read on, but then I've had experiences with ones that aren't that way at all. Excuse me. So I'm just curious with everything. But yeah. Okay, trolls, gnomes. Okay, Armando, I have done a reading on giants. Oh my gosh. It's in a TikTok conspiracy video. So I don't know if people remember. Yep, we can look at elves. Gnomes. Ogres. I would imagine, yeah. But I have done a reading on giants before, and Are Giants Real? It is on my YouTube. Oh my gosh. That reading also blew my freaking mind. I'll have to add it to the conspiracy paranormal thingy-mabobber, but I actually did it on the TikTok guy. I don't know if people remember 2019 or 2020 when the guy was like, "Are giants real?" on TikTok, and he had that really viral TikTok. So I did a reading on it. Oh my gosh. What I picked up in that reading blew my mind. I'm like, nah, they can't be. And I'm like, oh. And yes, I do think there are different types of giants. At least in my reading, I picked that up too. Like, giants are weird, man. Giants are freaking weird. But yeah, I have kitsunes, I have mermaids, I have the fae, so that's fairies, I demons, trolls, elves, gnomes, ogres. We'll probably redo dragons. Uh, just because why the heck not? Uh, I also want to do a reading just on ghosts. Let me try and find the reading really quick. I think I should just be able to pick it up and put it into chat if y'all want. It was such a good. It was like probably one of my favorite readings that I've ever done. Uh, Let me just find it. It should be playlist. Boop 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 doo. It was so much fun. I just had a great time with it. It was a good, like, I don't know. We were having a great ass time. Let me just grab it. I'll put it in chat here really quick. No, stop that. Why do you do this to me? But yeah, I had so much fun. Oh, yes, unicorns. Yes, we can look at unicorns. Where did they come from? Let me take a look. See, let me take a look. See here. Here is my giants reading. Yes, and we can take a look between the eastern and the western dragons too. Why is there such a difference in them? Eastern and western dragons. Yeah, if y'all want to go check that out, that is my giants reading that I got. Yes, and we have the unicorns. Because I got like a couple things in the works that I've been wanting to do a lot more of. So that's what I got. If y'all are interested, is there anything else that y'all are looking into? I know we have so much investigating to do on different things. Like, I've been looking for some more readings too to like bring stuff in. Uh, because I mean, it's fun and all to do like celebrities and stuff. I am also been wanting to do one on the freaking Sphinx for so long. It's not even funny, but each time I'm like, nah, nah. And then I've been wanting to do one on the pyramids, but let me tell you, like each time I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go read the pyramids. And they're like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? And it's like, you don't have the right deck for that. And I'm like, well, what's the right deck? And it's like, we're not gonna tell you. And I'm like, fine, fine, okay, we're just gonna be fine. Also, I've been wanting to do okay, yeah. Hi, Mel. I have been sick the last few days. Like, I should say I've been sick for like the last 2 weeks. Uh, when it comes to, I have been sick for like the last 2 weeks. So if you've replied, I have like, like let me tell you, today has been like probably the best day I've had in 2 weeks. So I will look into my website right after this live, and I will get back to you. Uh, Finger monkeys? I have never heard of those things. I've heard of the flying squirrels. Uh, yes. What about sprites? I think that would kind of fall underneath fae and fairies. But we can take a look. I mean, we can ask. Oh, I'm looking at Hollywood broke up with Marilyn. Yes, I've been wanting to read on Marilyn Monroe as well. Like, I've just been not sure how to, like, what do I even add to that reading? Because, like, there's been so many people who've done a reading on it. There's been so many people who have been doing stuff. So I'm like, what do I even add? Because it feels like everyone has kind of said what needs to be said about that. And I'm already being told, no, that's not true. And I'm like, fine, I'll have to do one. Uh, after, I think I also want to do something, um, whatchamacalls it. I also want to do, I've been getting requests for the Queen and Princess Diana, and if there was any meddling there between the Queen and Princess D, or Princess Diana. So, so I've had a few readings um that I've been wanting to do. Uh, yeah, no one reads on Marilyn and her first honey. Yeah, I can look at that. That's not a problem. First husband. So again, yeah, I thank you for all those suggestions. I'm hoping to get really back into things coming up here. Like I said, these last 2 weeks have just drained the living life out of me. I've been so very tired, uh, with lots of stuff. Yeah. There's Marilyn Monroe, the star, and then her human side, which some don't know about. Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely take a look into that. It's giving me Sabrina. I don't know why, but for some reason it's like Sabrina Carpenter. Who? Oh, James Dean. We can take a look into that. Like, I know there's been a few people who've also reached out to me. They want me to read on the what the outs not the Outsiders, but the Outlander. There's a group, an old country group from like the early 90s, late 80s that people want me to look into. It's like all like the original big country stars. Um, oh yeah, Dogman. Man, I am so mad at myself. I've been promising a Dogman reading for a while, and I forgot. And we can also look at Mothman as well. And what the heck is that? Are we reading like are we Ben 10 in it over here with Mothman? So if y'all don't get that reference, I'm sorry. But are we Ben 10 in it with the Mothman? Because that's what I'm kind of seeing as like, oh, which alien do you want to be today? Yeah. But yeah, Dogman. Dogman, I haven't done a reading on yet. I've been promising that one because it's very. I don't know if it'll end up being similar. What? Hold on. Sal Marino or Salmoneo? What is Hat Man? I have never heard of Hat Man before. Hat Man, and then I'm also putting in on okay, Sal Mineo. Mineo. Yeah. I'm really interested in this. Okay. So, yeah, Marilyn Monroe. I might end up actually doing that reading coming up here. I work tomorrow. So maybe I'll do it after work tomorrow. But excuse me. I've got a few readings too. If y'all go, I know for the new members tonight, I do have a bunch of readings up ahead of time, and there's probably gonna be more coming out here soon when it comes to everything. So, uh, it'll be really fun. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end up doing a Marilyn Monroe reading coming up here soon. And then yeah, quick reminder for anyone next week. Oh no! Tell your cat to stop. Also, anyone next week, for members, if you're new tonight or not, I am holding a reading next week, Thursday, at 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are looking at kind of the Triangle people, aka Freemasons, and looking at kind of what their influence is in the world. So, thought I would check that out. Otherwise, if you're looking for personal readings, I am this weekend on Saturday. I am holding readings. In-person sessions are available this Saturday. If you want to, you can go book your time on my website. If that's something you'd like to go check out. So I thought I would offer that up. So yeah, if that's what you're if you're looking at some of that stuff, that's all available. So I mean, I might as well hype some of that stuff up. So yeah, that's what's kind of coming up here. And then I do plan on doing another. I'm actually going to be doing two, probably non-member. I'm going to be doing 2 lives in March coming up. I've not heard of Hatman. Yeah, I will definitely be putting in stuff with Marilyn Monroe, but I do want to take a look into the Jimmy Doherty, into him. I'll actually probably might just do, I wonder if I'll do like 3 different readings for Marilyn. So I will definitely be trying to do that. Uh, but again, where was I before this? Yeah, I will be doing 2 non-member lives in March. One is going to be a very niche community. So I follow something called Girl World, and so I'm thinking I'm going to do a live on my girls who I follow. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. So that'll be 1 week, and then I do plan on doing a celebrity reading. Maybe I won't even do a celebrity reading, but you know what we might end up doing? We might end up doing a kind of like a Tolkien, like phase tray phase phase tray Fae trolls and gnomes, oh my, where we might be going more into a lot of that like mythological type of readings. So if we want, we can be looking at the fae, the fairies, sprites, trolls, elves, gnomes, ogres, unicorns. I'm thinking I might end up actually doing that, where we're going to be looking at Planet X. You mean, yeah, you mean the bigger planet of between X and Pluto? But yeah, I have a few ideas. Otherwise, someone gave me a really good suggestion of looking at celebrity family members. One is the Culkin family. Another one might be the Swift siblings, the Culkin siblings, the Olsen twins, and looking at siblings in Hollywood and what's that dynamic and what's that relationship. Oh yeah, we can look at the little Menehune people from Hawaii. Yeah, we can look at them at one point in time. Yeah. Yeah, and if there are, how do I put this? If there are, like we could do a whole Polynesian time too, or we can look at Polynesia and look at some of the mythology or peoples or legends that come from Polynesia. That would be really cool too. Yes, the Sixth Sense and his sister, yeah. So yeah, I'm planning on one is going to be a very niche reading, community reading, and then the other one is definitely going to be on something a little bit different. So, like I said, we could do the fays, trolls, elves, gnomes, oh my, or we can just look at yeah, or we could look at this, or we could look at siblings in Hollywood. I'm thinking a lot of people would like the siblings in Hollywood one. I haven't done a reading. I haven't done a live actually on a lot of Hollywood stuff. I've actually done more. Yes, we can look at Haley and Joel Osment. Yeah. Ugh. What would we want to read about Rome though? Just a really, like, honestly, I don't know what would we want to read about Rome. I know I've done like Secrets of the Vatican part 1 and part 2. Like, oh my gosh, oh man, the Vatican. I don't know what the heck's going on there. I'm going to do a Vatican part 3 pretty soon. Yes, and then, like, a lot of these dimensions have, like I said, I think the ones that we're most familiar with when it comes to dimensional beings or dimensional creatures all come from the second dimension. At least in my opinion. Like, a lot of what we've known comes from the second dimension because it's so freaking close to us. And, like, it's such a parallel to the third dimension. I don't know, man. That's what I keep seeing. Like I said, tonight was a night of, like, it just blew my mind of all the shenaniganery that just kind of came in. It was a good time. Like I said, I learned a lot about myself. I'm also so gosh darn curious on what the frickety frick frack seventh dimensional beings are. What are their purpose? I want to know. Okay. Yeah, ancient Rome. Like, what about, like, the Colosseum? Like, you know what would be fun? Yes. Yeah, the Vatican reading was kind of strange. Part 1 and part 2. Let me tell you, like, I had to redo the Vatican reading part 1 like 3 different times because there was so much stuff that was coming out. The first time I did the Vatican, y'all, I don't even believe half the shenaniganery that came out of my mouth when I was trying to film the Vatican part 1 the first time. The Vatican, let me tell you, like, it was so weird. It was so weird. Like, if half the stuff that was in the Vatican reading, and the audio didn't record, which is why I didn't post it. The audio didn't record the first time I did it. And I'm like, you, gosh darn it all, you little, was so annoying. Like, I don't know, man. Vatican was weird. I want to do a part 3 just because I enjoy the Vatican readings because I don't know, I can't be the only one stuck in like knowing this stuff. I'm also been told I really need to read the LDS and their eugenics program apparently, or their obsession with eugenics. That I've been told I should read on, and I really want to read on the Jehovah's Witnesses, but I'm still trying to figure out what to read on them because every time I try looking stuff up, it's like Jehovah's Witnesses, meh. And I'm like, I know there's a lot of stuff, but I don't know what to look at. I try. I do try. So that's what I kind of got. I'm trying. I'm glad y'all are enjoying, and like Becca, I'm really glad you're enjoying the content. I really do. I'm trying, but like, man, there are some days where I'm just like, the stuff that comes out of my mouth. I'm like, I don't even know if I believe it, but I'm like, I gotta say what I'm seeing. Like, I don't know if I believe it. There's also been a case that I can't get out of my head. And I don't know if y'all are interested in like true crime stuff. It's not that I try and stay away from it. I said I'm trying to be respectful of it. Yeah. And also, yeah, angels. We're going to add angels to the list of like, what the heck are they? Like, we've seen like the Bible description ones, and then we've seen like the artist rendition ones, and what are the difference? Like, I also want to do a reading on the Akashic records and be like, why can some people get into them? Why can't some not? So that's another thing I've been really curious about is the Akashic records. But yes, going back to my true crime thing, there's a case, Sebastian is his name, and he's been missing, and his parents are gone, or his parents have tried. I gotta look it up. Because when I first heard about it, it was like a year ago. It's like almost a year he's been missing. And like, again, I try and do, yes, no, that's not him. But when it comes to true crime, it's not that I shy away from it. I am trying to do, I'm trying to be respectful when it comes to the cases that I do cover, and a lot of the stuff it's typically older, because it's like, yeah. Oh yeah, the different types of angels too. The different types. Different types. Yeah. So, yeah, but just keeping with that, it's like I'm trying to keep things. I'm trying to like find cases. I do have a reading coming out. Ooh, I think it's tomorrow. That's all. That is going to be on Brian Laundrie. Uh, and apparently, because they just released a brand new documentary about Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie's relationship and kind of everything that went down. So I do have a reading coming out about that tomorrow. Um, yes, I am. Yeah, take care as well, everyone. I am going to get to that Marilyn Jimmy reading probably tomorrow. So it should be out sometime next week. Oh, and 9 types of angels. 9 types. So, yeah, I have that all written down. I have like, I'll show you all my list. But like, let me tell you, I got my list. I got everyone's stuff down. So like, I am keeping everything down. So, uh, I am. So just letting you know, I do have it all down and trying different things. So, again, I'm going to try and get some readings done coming up here, just some different things. uh yeah, I hope Gabby's at peace as well. I didn't really read on her. I was more focused on Brian and his parents in that reading, so that's coming out tomorrow. But more stuff coming, and then as new lives come out, just keep a check up on my community tab. I try and tell people about 24 hours before each new live, or if I just post a new one. Once those dates are set, they're set, and I have them on the community tab. I think I'm gonna also be coming out with maybe a poll or two coming up this month, about different readings that you guys might want to see, including for the live, what actually you guys would want to see. So just letting you know about all that stuff coming up, and the such. So thank you all again so much. I know it's 9:30. Goodness gracious, we've been on here for 3.5 hours. I've only had a thing of water and 2 things of tea. I think I'm doing pretty dang good, considering, like, I don't know, 4 days ago I couldn't talk without coughing every 3 minutes. So thank you all guys so much for joining tonight. And let's keep a check out on the community tab. If you want to double check to make sure that you never miss a live, go feel free to click on the notification button down below. Noah Presgrove from Oklahoma for murder mysteries, or murder, yeah, mystery murders. I can check that out, or true crimes. I can definitely check that out. I know that there's a few unsolved cases too. Like, I really like looking at the unsolved stuff. Guys, I had a not Julius Caesar reading. No, Nero reading. A Nero reading. Oh my gosh. That's in historical mysteries. That was interesting. Also, the I don't know if anyone's heard of the Elian Lighthouse, where essentially 4 lighthouse keepers, or no, 3 lighthouse keepers up and disappeared. No coffee. We just drink tea that's non-caffeinated at this point in time. So, yes. Also, if you guys are still around, feel free, remember to hit that like button down below. I know I'm doing my classic Midwestern goodbye. My record is 2 hours. We are not doing a 2-hour goodbye, please and thank you. But yeah, I'm going to kind of get some of this stuff together. And again, quick reminders. Feel free, hit the like button. Love y'all. Thank you. Hearts going out to y'all. Otherwise, if you don't want to miss a live, remember to hit the notification button. You can make sure you never miss a live, or readings that I'm posting. I try and post every single day because I don't know, I like posting readings a lot. I tried the 3 days a week schedule. It just wasn't working for me. And then otherwise, again, if you want to do anything cool, fun, again, I have readings this weekend coming up for in-person sessions if you're interested, aka I'll meet you over Zoom. Otherwise, yeah, that's what I pretty much got. So, otherwise, thank you all again so much for joining me tonight. I had such a blast. All of our minds were collectively blown, and I hope to. Everyone, please stay warm. I think I have a feel like of negative like 12 or 13 outside. So I hope you, wherever you are, you stay warm. Drink your water, eat well, get your sleep, and the such. And I will see you guys for more content, lives, and the such moving forward. So thank you all, and bye bye.